if you can hear it. Okay. I think you guys should hear me. Oh, here we are. Discord audio on. Yeah, that's my wedding stream. So yeah, we are live now. I hope everyone can hear us. So if you guys can't hear the other guys, just let me know. First time today. I hope everything's smooth. So for the very first episode of OPN, which is One Piece Negotiations, I have great guests today, which are of course Saké and Kev the OG. Thank you guys very much for being here. So what were you guys cooking lately? I saw you had a JoJo video today, Kev. I already watched it. Really? Fun. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, wait a second. I'm sorry. I just feel like the typical thing. The Discord audio is not. Yeah. Okay, wait.
JJ says
okay,
he's
now.
ignoring me.
Now it's working. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. First time. So okay,
now.
Kev was explaining about the video.
Yeah. And basically I was like on thin ice making it because I was like, I want it to be good, but I also want it to be like a clap back to morons on Twitter for saying some hateful crap. And I think I succeeded,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Was pretty good.
It's well, thank you.
Okay. How about you, Doug? Got anything planned in the next days?
Well, I did have a video drop yesterday, and similar to Kev, I was a little worried dropping it because it's like kind of a controversial thing talking about Kaido or Big Mom
right.
or what happened to them. So I felt the same way, but the response was pretty good about it. So I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, a lot of it was about Blackbeard as well, which Blackbeard's the GOAT. So
okay.
So, but yeah, man, and I got I did a members post last night, and I know at least a handful of people who are in the chat saw it already, and got a lot of updates coming for both channels. I'm excited about. So yeah, man, everything's going great. I'm excited to be here. It's gonna be a great stream. A lot of negotiations to be had.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. So yeah, and also hi to everyone in the chat. I see a lot of new faces, a lot of old faces. Also, thank you, Vex, again for gifting 5 memberships. Stop doing that.
Go.
You're a goat for real. Just to let you guys know what this is about. In this format, I will post questions and statements to our guests, but also to you guys in the chat. And we all will just brainstorm on it. So basically, it's gonna be some serious questions, gonna be some silly questions. We are just trying to have fun here. So if you guys come up with some interesting task for us or question, just put it in the chat. I will try to keep track of it. This is my first time, bear with me. So,
Vex didn't listen to you, by the way.
Oh my god, stop it, Vex. Another 5 memberships. Okay. Okay, 3-Day got one. Very good, very good.
Shout out to 3-Day.
Also,
definitely deserved.
Yeah. Also,
I don't know. JJ's was deserved earlier though, the Topman believer, but
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah. We actually got a few new members now. Okay. I will lose track if I get derailed right now. So yeah, it's all about these questions. I've also prepared some little templates that you guys can see in the screen when I ask them, so you know what's about. And the main aspect of this is just entertainment, right? This is not about making the best theories or who has the greatest ideas or who comes up with the amazing stuff they never has thought about yet. This is just about having fun. So as I said, if you guys have cool ideas, just let me know in the chat, and we will brainstorm about this. Yeah, that's basically it. So also I prepared like a little bumper for that.
OPN.
Okay, we didn't hear anything, but I think the people in the chat should have seen it or heard it at least. So yeah. Okay, so the first question I prepared is more recent, and it's basically, why do you guys think is it that St. Marcus Mars was able to fly through the barrier on Egghead? Got any ideas on this?
I kind of do.
You do?
I'm very glad this is actually a question, because you mentioned the barrier, and I was like, Because here's what I'm thinking. As we saw with Saturn, he was able to like reform in some fashion. He had the weird spirally reformation crap. And a big theory I had in Wano is that Marco, who's like a phoenix obviously, is gonna die and then rise from the ashes, reborn in some form or fashion. And I think Oda obviously didn't do that, but I think this could easily be the way that Mars got through the barrier. I'm glad that you said his name, by the way. I completely forgot which one was which one.
Yeah.
I called him the bird Gorosei.
I would do that too, that's why I wrote it down, so yeah.
Yeah. But what I think, he probably like hit the barrier and died in some form or fashion, but because of the explosion, he got, you know, blowed up, and then he could reform on the other side, since the explosion was not just on one side of the barrier, it was also on the other side. That's what I was thinking, at least. I feel like that could be a cool way to kind of get into that idea. But I don't know much about like the mythology of the creature, so it probably could have something to do with that as well.
Yeah, I haven't researched anything into these creatures yet either. Like, I'm working on the video, so I didn't have time about to look into this. So all the questions I asked, I haven't thought about them myself. So we are all in the same position here. You got any idea about this deck?
Yeah, so I pretty much agree with Kev, but just I guess to continue kind of the thought there, you know, the defense dome thing that, you know, is supposed to be like keeping everything out. I got a little bit of beef with it because, you know, like Bonnie got sent flying through it, and Bonnie was up like minutes later, you know what I mean? And so and then also Luffy went through it twice basically, like back to back, like whenever Kizaru kicked him out and then he had to come back in. And so, you know, whenever it comes to Mars going through it, I'm kind of like, I mean, everyone's going through it, you know, and like, and not that it's like easy, like they're obviously all getting fried. Like Luffy even was like, man, that really hurt whenever he came back in. But it's one of those Oda things where like, if you got to go through it, he'll get you through it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really as threatening as it should be. It's just like kind of like almost a minor inconvenience at this point. So I agree with Kev. It's probably like Mars just hit it, and some of them went through, because like it doesn't actually completely eliminate you. You know what I'm saying? Like Bonnie didn't even die from it, which like Bonnie's pretty strong, but you know, compared to Mars in that form and everything. So I'm sure, yeah, he just reformed on the other side, and then, you know, and yeah, I'm real excited to see what he's gonna do up there. I know that wasn't exactly the question, but I'm real pumped. That's that's one of my favorite things, is what he's.
We can always deviate from the topic, no problem. That's actually a really good question. So what do you guys think he's gonna do there?
Oh my god.
He's trying to stop the message, right? Because he's the one who can fly. So because they were talking before, it's probably in his lab up there or whatever, and he even went and asked York, like, where's it at? Like where's the room in the, you know, on the thing. And so he's definitely going to go destroy it. And Kev, I think you have some thoughts about where that might go. So I'll leave that to you. But yeah, I think, I'll say I'm interested to see how York kind of ties into this going forward. Where like, is he just up there just to get that information from York and then leave her behind, or is he going to take her like they spoke about before? Because he didn't like say like anything like you're coming with me or whatever. All he asked was the question, where is it? And he's gonna go for it probably. So I'm interested to see that. But Kev, I'm sure you have some thoughts about what might happen once he gets up there.
Yeah, I really like that stuff that happened with him last chapter. Obviously he has all the info now, because Lucci was pissing himself and he was just like, here's everything, now go away. And now he's with York, obviously. So there's a lot of potential with that. You know, York spilling even more beans than before. And obviously, I'm not thinking that the thing is even there on the island, like, whatsoever. And they're just all getting played. So I think he's probably just going to be... It's ironic he's a bird because he's on, like, a wild goose chase right now. He's looking for something that's not even on the island at all, in my opinion. And I saw this one theory that was really cool. That... it's not on another island at all. It's actually just Vegapunk's corpse itself. That is like the thing that's transmitting it, because we know that the thing on his head is an antenna. So they're probably going to be looking for him specifically, if not, you know, a specific location. So that's a cool idea as well. You know, they're looking for some big room with like some massive computer, but it's actually just some humans, you know, corpse, something they view as insignificant, you know, because they're even with Lucci, he said like, oh, an insect being crushed on the way isn't, you know, it's not anything important. Meanwhile, what they actually need to look for is the thing that they call an insect the whole time. So I don't know. I thought that could be a really cool way of taking it.
Yeah, they really love calling other people insects, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's pretty weird. Like the way he talked to Lucci, right? It sounded like he's gonna blow the whole thing up. Actually, like Lucci asked him to spare Kaku, and he was like, I don't know if I can do that. Actually, like, who knows what he's gonna do? Probably has some ability that goes big boom. But I saw super chat from Mr. Bushido. Thank you very much for €10. Vex already pointed out that it's a bit derailing, but I'm gonna read it nonetheless. He said, yo, Dex just said this on Discord, but Garp and Kaido do have some similarities. Both are aggressive parents, though Kaido was much worse. Kaido with Garp, Shadow R, what if Rocks R, Roger with Garp Shadow. Okay, good, I got it. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, it's a good point. What he's kind of referring to is in the video I dropped, which, you know, there was a lot to it, but one of the ideas was like, you know, if Kaido died in Wano, you could, like, if Blackbeard, because a lot of people think Blackbeard's headed to Wano to get Pluton now because of Caribou, right? Yeah. And also the cover story, right? And so that was like talking about what's going to happen. There was most of the video, and at one point I'm like, you know, if Kaido died, his body's somewhere still. Like, it's not going to be vaporized, and even if he is alive, maybe Blackbeard will just kill him. So either way, his corpse will be left behind. What if Blackbeard takes it and turns it into like an ores situation, right? Yeah. Like uses it because he might get like Bat or Gecko, whatever, you know, his name, the Seraphim for Moria. And so what he's talking about here, you know, is Kaido. And I was saying that Garp's shadow would be what gets put into Kaido's corpse. So it's like an upgraded Luffy and Ors situation, right? You have a stronger shadow, at least relative to then, and also a stronger body to put it in. And so he's talking about, you know, how they're both aggressive parents, so there's like a combination, like a parallel there, sort of, and they're both like, you know, physically like brutally strong in different ways. I would say, like, they're, you know, because he's like, because Kaido's like an Oni, so he's like the strongest creature, and then Garp, you know, is like one of the physically strongest humans ever, right? So it's a good connection there. And so yeah, I mean, now the other part, Kaido with Garp Shadow, or you said, or what if Rox or Roger with Garp Shadow? I mean, that would be terrifying, or even Whitebeard, right? Yeah. I mean, because we know where his body is, at least. So I really hope that doesn't happen, but I wouldn't put it past Blackbeard, you know, at this point.
But that would mean that Blackbeard already took his ability, right? So we still don't know about that yet.
What do you mean?
Moria's ability with the shadow?
Oh yeah. Well, he would have to get Gecko.
Oh, Gecko, right? You mentioned that.
The Seraphim.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because he probably has the That would be the whole key to it, because he lost Moria, right? Because Moria seemed to have escaped with Perona and the Koby situation. So
I'm still hyped to see what's going on. Like, I really want to see them escape. Personally, I like Gecko Moria, so I hope he's coming back.
Same.
Okay. Dilkor had a super chat, like the stream for $3 Canadian. Thank you very much. Mook, I saw yours too. Thanks for the £2. I noted it for later. But since we are already talking about Garp, I wanted to bring up another question that's more on the city side. And it's the following. Come up with an explanation for why Accent Morgan might be the one to free Garp from Hachinosu. Let's see.
Who?
Accent Morgan.
Let's talk about Morgan from the first arc
Yeah.
in the story.
Yeah.
Thinking.
So yeah, I'm really trying to wrap. Oh well, I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
Helmeppo was on Hachinosu, and you know how One Piece is. The dad is always stronger in some form or fashion than
Yeah.
the son. So I mean, if Helmeppo got that glow up in these past 2 years, just think about what Accent Morgan could be.
I mean-
like that Accent
Well-
could be a black blade. We don't even know. Like, just think about the potential there.
Exactly.
Well, Axe Hand, cut Garp. Right?
I wanted to say
did.
that. Yes,
He
you
did
did.
cut
Yeah,
Garp.
so tying back to this, I mean, if there was someone to come save Garp, it would have to be someone stronger than Garp, right?
Yeah.
to be successful. Nobody is allowed to clip that statement, but
It's like
yeah.
when
Yeah, clips are forbidden, guys.
yeah.
I think another
yeah.
example is like, Mr. 3. Mr. 3 was going to kill Zoro and Nami and Vivi and all these characters. Like, if he came back, which he very likely could, because of course he will.
Mhm.
Like, and if he saves them, it would just make sense. The redemption arc of Morgan and Mr. 3.
Yeah, makes sense
And
to me.
Oda's very circular with these type of things. He's very full circle, bringing old characters back. He loves doing that.
Yeah, I actually like it's really silly, but I would love to see that. Not gonna lie, like the dude, he cut Garp. I mean, he was sleeping, but now we know about Haki,
Yeah.
right? Even if he's sleeping, he
Well-
should have seen it coming.
True.
Oh, well, there's one
True.
thing. If Blackbeard himself is on the island, then Axe Hand Morgan's kind of cooked because Blackbeard doesn't sleep, right? So he's never going to be able to have that same chance that he had against Garp.
True.
But otherwise, he would be all good for sure. He would just go in at nighttime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then he would just get all of them.
You know what would be really crazy? Because who Axe Hand Morgan defeated? Kuro.
Oh,
What if
no, here we
Kuro
go.
also returns? And
Oh,
he
yeah.
helps Morgan. He does the pussyfoot attack or whatever. Sneaks in, gets Garp out.
The cat out of the bag technique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cat out of the bag. Yeah,
God, that was so
he's got to
funny.
come back. He's got to come back.
Oda said that was like as fast as was it Soru, right? Or Shave, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But he couldn't control it, so it was like a nerfed version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hey, I'm Kuro feats top 30.
Maybe he mastered it now. Okay, we
Just
go.
running around his jail cell. I mean, that might help him because he didn't want to hit the walls. Like maybe that's what he said. He trained it in a small space. I don't know.
Okay, we got another one from Mr. Bushido, €2. Moria is already dead and zombie. Weird we didn't see him. And and then another one for €2 saying Morgan X is a black blade.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's gonna be a contender for the strongest X-Man in the world, I guess.
I've been thinking about this Kuro thing more, right? I've been thinking about it. And you know how Oda loves those, the characters coming back. They're finally reuniting. Django and Kuro, they gotta reunite still. They still have to reunite. Think about all this time.
Yeah.
Think about, if Django is this far in the Marines now, what's Kuro up to? What's he doing? We don't know.
We definitely should not neglect Kuro and Zero Village in general, because my man Cube from the last arc, he has some great thoughts on this. He might want to drop them someday, so stay tuned for this. I wrote down a question from the chat. Oh, maybe I should note who posted them, but whatever, I hope you're not mad. Someone asked why Mars is related to Gonfal.
Why is Mars related to
Yeah.
to Gonfal?
I
Okay.
I guess he wants us to explain how that could be possible.
I mean, Mars. This is probably the ancestor to Gonfal. You know what I'm saying? Like, because all the Gorosei are probably really old, and I don't know if he would be like his great grandpa, you know, but
To be fair, they really look alike. It's
Yeah.
not only that, like there are many also. I think Hurlook and Clover. They all have this pointy down going nose. They all have this beard. I think there's definitely something. I really was thinking about doing a theory on this topic one day, but I have always pushed it aside for now. But yeah, they definitely look similar. I wonder if they are brothers or something.
well, I think an important thing is remember Garp looks like the Shandia chief or whatever from Skypiea also,
True.
who's like another, you know, leader of Skypiea,
Yeah.
loosely speaking, you know what I mean? Like Gonfal, was the god, or is the god now, I think, right? So, so like, you know, that's another connection where like, why do they? Because he looks just like Garp, that guy. Like he even has like the dog hat thing on and
Pretty
everything.
much, yeah.
And so it's like, you know, I don't know what the connection. I'm sure they're just ancestors, or they have like a common ancestor at some point. Because if Mars is like 800 years old, you know, Gonfal is like 70 something. So it would have to be, you know, like a bunch of generations between. And I doubt they're like direct descendants. They probably have like a shared one where like maybe like Mars's dad like had a twin brother who is Gonfal's great grandpa or something like that. Maybe.
I'm thinking right now about the, you know, because if we're thinking about people who look like Garp, you know who I'm thinking looks like Garp?
Yeah, Lauji.
Lauji.
Mhm.
Lauji.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Where's
he
the
is Garp.
connection?
you can never forget this. Like he
He
is the
is
clone.
Garp.
I mean, he is Lao Ji, right? I already had a little theory on this. Like Lao means old in Chinese, can mean old, so it's basically old Garp. Garp already is old, but that makes him even older, and that's what he is. He fights with his fist. Garp's called the fist. Okay, you
You
know.
know, I think everything might
Yeah.
be leading to Lauji. Everything might be leading to Lauji, right?
Yeah.
Because when you flip Lauji, you know what it spells? Goal. He's the goal of the story. You know?
Correct. Yeah.
Could be
Actually,
something there.
so maybe Lao Ji is actually the One Piece, like Lovetail, right? Since he's the goal.
Because he's
He's
so
been there.
funny. He makes us laugh.
Um,
He also fell into that pit. Is that foreshadowing that the One Piece is inside the world? Hollow Earth theory, you know?
Mhm.
I mean, if you have seen my latest mega theory, it might be something similar to this. But we also had another question from the chat saying,
There's no way people are like, no. I'm seeing people say like, never realized that. It's like, no, don't take that seriously at all. Don't take.
yeah, no.
Oh, no.
Maybe I have to put some disclaimer the next time, like saying this is all for fun.
No,
Yeah.
some of it's real. Like that Mars stuff at the beginning. We were
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
actually talking.
No. They're a bit more on the serious side right now. Someone asked, do you believe any other bigger personality in the One Piece world arrives in Egghead later in the arc?
So that's like what, Dragon or like Kuzan, you know, some like
Yeah.
big name character, I guess.
Personally, I believe that Neomats should arrive at some point. Firstly, because we haven't seen their reaction to the new set, which is kind of weird since we've seen so many other reactions. Secondly, because the last thing we saw of them was Judge and Caesar like fighting, and then they were like, "Wait a second, that's all Vegapunk's fault." That was the last thing we saw of them. So naturally, the next decision for them should be to find Vegapunk and take revenge, in my opinion, right? So I really think Neomats might be another party that joins what's going on there. Maybe even on last second, just like it was on Whole Cake Plateau, where they came back to save the Straw Hats, or help them at least to escape, something like that.
I would love Caesar to come back. I miss him, low-key. I kind of miss him.
I do
And I
too.
think him coming back would be really great.
Yeah.
Especially since obviously his entire arc is tied to Vegapunk. You know, like he was introduced to Punk Hazard, he was Vegapunk's assistant. It would be kind of cool if, you know, Caesar was to come back.
Gastino is the goat. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I was about
Yeah,
to
but
say,
why
I
are you-
don't even know who Caesar is. I only know Gangster
Wait, what?
Gastino.
Why are
Yeah.
you guys comparing the two? They're different people. Why are you
That's what I'm
comparing
saying. Yeah, I only know Gangster Gastino. And I thought Caesar was long gone. You know.
Yo,
why-
No, Caesar was on Zoe. He was on Zoe.
my bad.
Gastino was a Whole Cake character. Like, I know you
Yeah.
love Whole Cake, Dak.
Yeah,
But, like,
I know that.
I know.
Well, that's where he last was. You
Yeah.
know, until he escaped in the cover story.
Pretty
Oh,
sure.
true,
Pretty
did
sure
say
he
that.
mentioned that he's from Sniper Island or something like that.
Oh, true. All
Yeah.
the goats are from Sniper Island.
Okay, we had another question from Brandon King, and he's asking, "What are our thoughts on Blackbeard being related to Mars?" And then he wrote Mars Hall D Teach.
Well, I think Blackbeard was introduced in, you know, Jaya, well, fully introduced. He was mentioned in Drum Island, but in Jaya, you know, and then that, like, obviously Sky P was right after that, and so like he was the one who was kind of like telling Luffy, kind of like, you know, hey, keep listening to your dreams, like, you know, Sky Islands are real, or, you know what I'm saying? That's like the whole idea. Like he believed in the same thing, or like had the, you know, same kind of dreams. So it's like, you know, having him be tied to someone who's actually from a Sky Island like that. I mean, I could see it. I don't know if his name would actually be split up like that, but I mean, I will say that I wouldn't be shocked if somebody's name at some point is going to be split up like that, because, like, you know how Law is like Trafalgar D, Water Law is
Yeah.
like an extra little name randomly. Like, I bet you there will be somebody at some point who does have a name like that. I don't know if it will be Teach, but I think it's something Oda's going to use one more time, and that's it. So I don't know if it'll be him, but
Yeah,
I like the idea.
in my opinion, it's actually I spoke about that in my mega theory. In Japanese, they use a word called imina for that name, water, which means that it's a name that's forbidden to be spoken. Basically, like when you say Lord Voldemort, you shouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
And I actually think that water is like a title that this specific family had, and I think all the D members probably have such kind of titles. Maybe Luffy is gonna be Monkey D Earth Luffy or something like that.
Some elemental
Yeah.
connection. I was thinking maybe they chose water because water was like obviously the bane of like devil fruits and stuff like that. Maybe that could be the reason why. But it could also be because they were like in higher authority in some past, you know, world, because water is everything in the One Piece world, pretty much. you
Yeah.
know? But there's a lot of ways you could take that. Obviously, I think if they do some kind of crazy name like that, I think Shanks is right up in that direction, especially because he just has one name, and we assume he's Figureland Shanks. A lot of people do, at least. And he could probably have some pretentious middle name thing. Yeah, he probably could do that.
Yeah.
Usopp as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nami, Usopp, Frank. Well, Frankie would know his real name, but you know what I mean. Like all these characters with like single name things.
Yeah, it's
You
really
could
weird that we
definitely
don't
do that.
have the last names of many of the crewmates yet, right?
Brook.
Yeah. That's true, actually. Bad Rap Sample super chatted for $5. Thank you very much. He asked, how y'all feel about the crew's mids taking so long to get their late game power-ups? Oh, Chopper's food isn't what it seems. Okay, well, what is it? MFs.
Well, I don't know if you know, but Dax Sake put out this amazing video about Chopper's awakening. And,
I think I've seen
I
it.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I
You can definitely watch
appreciate
that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever we hear of late game power-ups, we often think of hockey, because a lot of them haven't even gotten like the base level of hockey. And I think that is like the more unacceptable part of all this, that like when it comes to late game power-ups, like for the ones that have devil fruits, Oda can have them awaken and just be like a crazy strong power, and they'll get through it. You know what I'm saying? Like he always has like these kind of trump cards, but like I feel like that is one thing, is like it does feel weird that some of them don't even have like the base level of hockey yet. Like you would just imagine at some point that would, happen. Like at least for Robin, we saw the conversation where she didn't do it. So I think that feels really weird, where at least it hasn't been like touched on for everybody, but I'm sure Oda's cooking something special. That's like when it comes to the Straw Hats winning fights, Oda just always finds a way. Like I always think back to like Usopp against I can't remember his name, but in Arlong Park, Chu, right? Chu.
Yeah, Chu.
And like he just finds a way somehow, and that's so that's all I'll say is like it does feel weird for sure, but he's gonna find a way. Oda will eventually.
Yeah, I've seen that video from Middle Way on Usopp. Have you guys seen that? That he might have eaten a devil fruit, and we just don't know about it.
I have that saved. Definitely, because obviously I love Usopp, so I definitely do want to watch it. I've heard it's great.
I haven't seen many of his videos, but that's definitely one I liked very much. It's really good. Can only say watch it if you haven't yet. Vex likes the music. That's good.
I also like it, by the way. I like.
Wait, don't you hear us double?
Yeah, I keep trying to like I can't listen to it because I hear the voices, not lined up. But I keep trying to I just turn it on for a little bit. Like, all right, what are the people listening to right now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking about how I could implement it for you guys to hear as well, but I couldn't really figure it out. Maybe I would have to use a bot for Discord or so, but that's a bit wonky.
Yeah, not a big deal. I mean, I guess you could just tell us the song or songs and
send the playlist
on Spotify or Epidemic or something.
Yeah.
I do want to say for the late game power stuff, I think that's really interesting because there are some characters where we know they've already had something crazy happen in post time skip, but it's like, that's not enough though. Like for example, Brook is great because like Soul King, people eat that up. It's so sick looking. It's super just unique. There's no other character that has an ability like it, but it's still not good enough because he doesn't have Haki. Like, I don't know. I feel like that take is kind of boring a lot of the time because it just shows like Haki's already supposed to be a rare feat in the One Piece world. That's the whole point of Haki. Now, do I think all the Straw Hats could learn it? Absolutely. These are exceptional individuals in the One Piece world. But saying that they need to get Haki kind of boils down all their cool things they have into, that's just a gimmick. They need to have, like Sanji. He needs to have Haki. Like, if Nami had armament Haki, that would just be lame. Because that shows that Nami's weather and Zeus and all that stuff that she knows with her brain is considered irrelevant. If she punches someone, then it's cool. Like, I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It really annoys me because it boils down the combat in One Piece into being something that's so one note. And the whole point of One Piece is that it's so, full of variety. There's so many crazy things that can happen. Like, if Brook just beat someone with Haki and only Haki, that would be so boring.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, him beating someone with Soul King would be awesome because who else is going to beat someone with Soul King? No one except Brook. And you brought up Demonio with Robin, which I thought was really great when that chapter came out. And I was like, oh my god, she finally has Haki. Wow, that's awesome. Because obviously it was shaded in black and white. In the anime reveal, it wasn't Haki. And I was like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. But then I'm realizing, like, oh wait, I don't really care if Robin knows Haki. Like, I don't really care at this point. Because, like, Demonio is so cool.
Yeah. It
relates to, like, her epithet. But she also learned Fishman Karate from the Revs. Like, all these cool things that you wouldn't expect. And it's so much more interesting to me than just, she knows Ryo now? Awesome. Because Luffy learning Ryo is what made Ryo cool, not Ryo itself. It's the process versus the actual thing being cool.
Also, since it's Demonio, right, and we see all these abilities now related to demons and all that, maybe her powers stem also from Hell, just as Brooks or Venus Judo, I guess. At least that's what we assume, right? So maybe this can be connected, which makes it even more interesting if it's not Haki, but an actual ability that also got this power from some other place. Wait, did I miss the super chat earlier? No, I answered that. So I got a few more questions from the people in the chat. Dr. Uma's Burner asked, do we really think that it's Luffy's heartbeat that is powering the Iron Giant? I'm just very curious how the Giant operated at full power in the past, if his current heartbeat barely got it to the standing. Yeah. Any thoughts?
I in one of my videos, I think I gave 3 scenarios, and I'm trying to think of all 3 of them right now, and maybe they'll all come to me, but I know one of them was maybe 200 years ago, somebody had like a tone dial with the Drums of Liberation saved in it, and they played it near the Iron Giant, right? And so it activated, because it's a play on Brook, right? Like Brook coming back after 50 years to play the music that his friends actually played, like, you know, like from the actual group, you know, to Laboon. That's like his goal. And so doing the same thing where somebody record, and maybe it's a thing where like the robot was near the tone dial already, and someone just found it and just like, what's this? And they didn't know, right? And then it started, like, you know, it could be like, there's a lot of ways Oda could have fun with that. And then another idea that I had was that like, what if like a band kind of like Brook's crew went and played a song that like used the tune of the Drums of Liberation, and it was close enough to the real thing, and they actually had like the right kind of drums or something to like basically replay it. And then I can't remember what the other idea I had was, but yeah, there's some pretty, I guess you could say somebody awakened it and actually had the Drums of Liberation, but we heard that didn't happen for so long, so I doubt that's it. But tone dial or something is my favorite idea. I feel like.
Do you think that he was like walking over the ocean floor actually, or was he stored near the red line or something like that? Because I doubt it can swim, right?
That's a really good question. I mean, I bet it can swim, because didn't the Vega Force was in the water, right? And they based the Vega Force off of the Iron Giant, right? So it being in the water is actually a really good idea. Actually, I really like that. And like, maybe, I don't know, somebody, whatever family designed the Polar Tang, they were making the first submarines and went down there and found it, or something like that. You know,
like oh, that's cool. I like that a lot.
That's like what were you about to say, like the Titanic?
Yeah, no, that, but they called it a Titan as well in the last chapter. They literally called it a Titan.
Well, yeah, well, you know, we know what happened with the last Titan. You know what I'm talking about.
That's true.
We got a super chat, $20 from Hidden. Thank you very much, man. He said, shout out to my goats. Thank you. You guys won't have to donate, really, but thank you very much.
I wish we had Hidden's thing that he plays, like where it's him as Whitebeard, and it's like, you are my son.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's my favorite.
It's really good, yeah. Maybe I steal it.
Pretend we just played that, Hidden.
Yeah, definitely. Nah, maybe I make something similar, but it would be stealing, no? I don't know. But yeah, about the Iron Giant, I have a little headcanon on this. I really think that I assume Joy Boy was actually really an ancient giant, and I think he was stuck on Sky Island until like 200 years ago. And it's a long story, but he ended up coming down and basically activated the Iron Giant while he was on Fishman Island. That's my take on it. The Fishmen didn't particularly like it because they don't remember him since he was gone for so long. And that's when they attacked him, which resulted in them getting granted access to the Reverie, because that happened 200 years ago as well, right? So basically as a reward for taking down Joy Boy, which they didn't know that he was Joy Boy. But yeah, a whole lot of headcanon leads to this assumption, and I have like a few things that they could be proof, but it's a 1 hour 20 video, so I'm not gonna explain all that right now. But just so you guys have heard it, you can check it out on my channel. You got any thoughts on the Iron Giant, Kev?
I don't really know. Like, it obviously has to be super important. I love the Titanic idea though, like it being in like Fishman Island or underwater or something, which would obviously connect it to like Noah, and maybe that's what was gonna lift up Noah in the first place, or you know, because obviously Joybo was at Fisherman Island. We know this. But I don't know. I feel like there's still so much it could be that I'm more leaving it open to interpretation and letting Oda take me for the ride versus like, oh, it's got to be this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because it's so vague for me still that I'm just like, let him cook. You know, more than anything.
Yeah. My man Johan Caravan posted this a lot. I asked you to make a question out of it. I'm gonna read it, but next time, please try to make a question out of it. He said, Crocodile is linked to Sebek, especially since Crocodile is the Egyptian god Sobek, and Crocodile is the first pirate to have the hook element in other, he foreshadowing Blackbeard.
Okay. I can't hear the name.
Oh. Okay, used the deck? Okay, good. So it's on Kev's end.
Did Kev just get...
He got Lulusiad, yeah.
Did the Mother Flame just pull up?
I think he wanted to slander Sobek.
Well, I'm pretty sure what he was gonna say was
I'm good.
Like D-Stream.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh yeah. See, I don't know. I'm just like Moda. I'm back. You know? But what I was saying was I can't hear Sobek anymore because my friend group, we have this meme now, and I'm not gonna fully explain the ramifications, but whenever they like play like a game and they're like winning or losing, and we play this one game. It's called Smite. Terrible game. Don't play it.
I know it.
We play this.
Oh,
game.
terrible
Game.
Yeah,
terrible.
And I play Sobek. You know, so I play as Sobek, and basically, whenever we're like winning, we're like, oh, we're so back. It's like,
Okay, wow.
Back.
I didn't see that coming.
We're so bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great. And it's Sobek, god of the Nile. And then when it's like we're so back, it's like god of denial.
Gotcha.
It's just like, oh, we're. But anyway, Dak, you and me, we've talked. You know, alligator. We know.
Oh yeah.
We know the connections. We know what's up.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. You don't have to convince me about this idea. I'm long, big believer. You know, did a video on it. You know, in RuneScape, the god's name is Zebek with a Z, and he's a big crocodile thing, and that really sold me on it. Which I know is so random, but I was like, oh yeah. Oh, there has to. They wouldn't have made this thing a crocodile named Zebek if there wasn't a connection. So then I went and looked up the actual Egyptian myth and found out the Sobek, which can also be spelled Sebek, S-E-B-E-K.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very close. Yeah, like whenever you go on the wiki, it says Sobek, then like right away in parentheses also spelled Sebek. So, I mean, yeah, I'll believe me, I'm totally on this. I mean, I think Crocodile is the child of rocks, you know, and that
Absolutely.
also ties to you know, like the Pluton stuff, like, and also something else that's really cool. This is like, I don't know if you would consider evidence really, but I think it's a cool connection. If you do like that idea that Crocodile is the son or child of rocks, because you know the Ivankov thing, who knows?
I like
the son now, I guess, of rocks. In the Miss Golden Week cover story, Miss Golden Week like gives everyone like clothes that are like their deepest desires, right? So like Mr. One has like a hero outfit on and he's like real happy about it, but Crocodile gets a Pirate King outfit and he's mad about it because like he's given up on the dream, right? Now tying to the Buggy stuff, like right with Buggy saying like, we're gonna go for the One Piece, like the reason Croc's mad about it is because he doesn't think it's possible, not because he doesn't want the One Piece. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Like he doubts himself, right? Because he lost a Whitebeard so many times. And so then tying this all to Rocks again, you know, Rocks lost to Roger, who ended up being the Pirate King. Like, what if Rocks, you know, that's like part of it is like, you know, because Rocks also seemed to be going for something maybe like bigger than the One Piece almost. Like he's trying to like take over the world, right? Which is like a different major goal. So it's like, it's almost showing another connection where like Croc isn't the Pirate King, but he's still, you know, like there's a deep connection there in some way. Like he's the opposite of the Pirate King in a way. So I'm totally about that theory.
I love it as well. It's really good. Like especially as you mentioned, Eva has a secret about him. But not gonna lie, I still like the Crocomum theory too. But that's me being silly. We got the super chat from Dexter. Thank you very much. 20 Danish kroners. Hope you're all well. Glad to see the OPN in action. Thank you very much, Dexter. Love to have you here.
Much love. Much love.
Shout out to the 30 plus people here. That's
It's
awesome.
insane. I think I never had so many people in the chat. Like, it's thanks to you guys, seriously. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And if you want to see more of these streams, guess what? You should like and subscribe. You should do that.
Yeah. That's exactly what Kev was going to say earlier when he lagged a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Emu was like, "You're doing too much here. You're too
Yeah, you're cooking too hard. We got to slow it down. We can't let people like it.
Definitely.
Can't let know that's so bad.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
ring the bell, everything. But not only for me, but also for the two other guys. But I think you already have them in your subscription list. So let's take one of my questions.
Okay.
For now, which is the silly one. Who pierced the sea cat and the sea cow? Any takes on that?
Let me think.
Because in my opinion, it's really weird that they are sea beasts, right? And if we assume for now that they are natural, which I think they are not, then someone must have put these piercings into their nose and ears, right?
I'm thinking that, like, if Oda was asked this question in an SBS, what he would say is that
Exactly.
Yeah, he would say, "Oh, there's some guy in Fishman Island or something that's like a well-known."
Yeah, that's such a good answer.
You know, either like cattle rancher guy, because like they do that. You know, that's like where that's who would normally be doing it on a farm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a guy who's like that's specifically his job is to do the piercing of every animal. That's Oda would just make up a character on the spot that didn't exist before. Like maybe he'll say, "Oh, remember this guy in Fishman Island that was in the background? He's actually like the world's best cattle rancher thing, and he just does it for everybody." Like that's exactly. It's going to be some like big burly fishman guy because you would have to be like strong to like handle the sea beast. That's what Oda would say. So I'm going to go with that.
It's just like that one guy from like super early One Piece. It was the guy with like the nails in his nose, and he brought him into the story in Wano. It's exactly something like that. It's like this irrelevant character that's just now here in the story, and like. What I'm leading to is like, is he gonna make up a character from like Fishman Island, like you said, or is it someone on Egghead that Vegapunk hired to like get the sea beasts to like have these sort of attachments into them, like maybe when he was modifying the creatures or something?
Some transmitters.
Like, it could be something like that. Yeah, it could be a transmitter. Like it's something so like over the top that it could be something like that.
I mean, the sea cats are the guardian deities of Alabasta, right?
Alabasta.
Yeah.
Oh, it could connect back to Alabasta because Vivi's in this arc too. Oh, that's good. That's good.
You know what? There's probably, just like you said, Kev, with like the carpenter guy. Because by the way, that carpenter guy from the beginning, that's his son in Wano. Like it's not the same person. Okay. But they look the exact same, but it's his son. Like they're like from a family of carpenters. So I bet you there's a family, like I said, cattle ranchers, like whatever, the sea beast ranchers that probably do this like all over the world. Probably like they all look the same.
Oh, actually, no. I think we're actually cooking right now because speaking of Arlong Park and like that guy, Arlong had Mumu who had a pierced nose.
Yes.
This is like this could be from Fishman Island. You know, this definitely could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we're cooking.
Yeah. I also have it in the stream. Like whenever I ask my questions, you can see a few pictures. So Mumu is there as well. Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, for Mumu, we could say maybe it was Arlong or one of their guys who pierced it, right? But I still think it's weird that all the sea cats have these piercings. Or maybe it was just Oda doing his thing and afterwards he was like, oh, wait. Shouldn't I give piercings to all of them? Or maybe not, I don't know. But I really think that the sea beasts are like made creatures, to put it like that. Because the fact that we see Vegapunk creating his own sea beast, the mechanized sea beast, is in my opinion a hint. Because whenever I make a theory about One Piece, I always end up finding stuff that mirrors something that already happened. Again and again and again, every time, so I think there must be to it. Mr. Rubik's, thank you for your super chat, $2. He said, what questions above all would you ask in an SPS? That's a very good question. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Oh my god. Because this could be anything.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. It could be anything.
But if you, you can't, but there's like a limit, you know what I mean? Like he's not gonna answer.
No, he
like
won't answer something crazy, but it's like the ultimate niche fun fact. Like, oh god, there's
exactly.
a little thing.
Yeah, this is a real good question here.
I think something that would be fun for me. I'm gonna get into like a category and then I'll think further. Is like you know how he always does like, oh, the Straw Hat's favorite blah,
Yeah.
or the Supernova's favorite blah. I'm shocked he hasn't done this for like the Yonko ever. At least I don't think he has. I've never seen an SPS where it's like Big Mom, Kaido, Shanks, Blackbeard. Like I don't think I've seen that ever. I think that would be a fun way to do stuff. But maybe that's because there's just less of them. And he probably doesn't like showing things about Shanks just because it's like the mystery of like Shanks. I don't know. But they do show Blackbeard stuff a lot in SPS.
Has anyone ever asked about Blackbeard's teeth?
I think they have.
They did, yeah.
I remember in SBS and they showed multiple shots with the teeth. I think they have at least.
Ah, that's a really good question though. Like, what would I ask? I mean, you can also ask silly questions. And to be fair, if you ask something like, "What is the One Piece?" he will just obviously dodge the question with something stupid, right? He's done that many times.
That piercing question is such an SBS question, man. Like that is literally that is like a perfect example of something Oda would respond to.
But I think Dak actually answered it perfectly.
Like that's right. That would be like one of that's like a question where Oda would give a detailed response. Like I was actually looking through an SBS recently where somebody brought up like, hey, in Brooks' flashback, there was this guy who supposedly died from this thing, but then you also drew him in the next page and he was still alive and then he died again. And it was like, how does that work? And he's like, oh, well, let me talk to you about these twins. And he like, he just turned them into, they're two different people because he messed up. It's definitely he's like making an excuse. And he just had like a whole thing explaining like who they were, you know, and like had pictures of them. And yeah, so that's awesome. like I could see him being like, oh, there's 5 main sea beast ranchers around the world in each of the seas, and here's what they look like, and here's their names. Like I could, like he would go hard on that for sure.
100%.
I saw a great one from YC in the chat. Gender bent versions of the Yonko and Gorosei. That would be a perfect.
That'd
one.
be great.
You would absolutely do that. I think maybe like if he is gonna do this, like what are each of the Vegapunk's favorite blah, and if it is different, which it probably would be, like something like that, he would probably answer as well. Like I don't know, I love those like group ones. They're so fun because it's like, oh, here's the Straw Hat's favorites foods or flowers or whatever. I just love that shit.
I would probably ask something like, is there another hidden Vegapunk? Because I think
that's too much.
Yeah,
that's too much.
I mean, it might be too much, but like maybe he feels a bit playful and and kind of evades the question by answering a little bit. It's not easy to think of something.
Yeah, if I had to, so I would have like one gag question that I would consider, and then one serious question that I would consider. And sort of a gag question. Because I think Oda would answer this one. I would say, give me a gender bent Laboon. Because it's probably going to look the exact same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like maybe like some lipstick or something to like just, you know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Because that one he would think is funny. And that would be kind of funny to see. So I'd probably do that. And then if I had, like, if I would want to think on this for a long time, because I could probably think of something better. But something that always bugs me and that I would like, some kind of like, I don't know how he would really display this information, but I would really like to know, like, how long what's like how long does it take to get between each island? Like, how far are they? Because he doesn't always say it, and sometimes he's like, it took several days, and I'm like, okay, like, is the distance between these two islands the same as these two, or are they closer? Because like right now with like Elbaf, for example, it seems like the Giants got there immediately, like the same day. Like,
I have a question on that later.
And so I don't know how I would ask it or how he would display it, but I would want to know from him, like, hey, can you just break down how far each island is? Like, maybe just go along the Straw Hat's journey and like tell me for sure how long or what the distance was, like feet wise, meters, whatever, something like that, to just standardize it a little bit.
Yeah, like an average distance. Because like the thing with Elbaf is like their ship is massive, and the sail of the ship. Imagine how much wind that's like pushing forward. And a lot of Viking ships, they don't just use the sail; they have like the massive oars and they're paddling, and there's like a ton of them on it. It's just like that's probably why they were able to go so fast, because they have so much force behind the ship, literally, and like the motivation to save Luffy as well, obviously. Like, so it's very, I don't know, subjective, I guess, when it comes to like a fisherman could probably just swim the whole way versus like a crappy boat or a good boat, or you know what I mean.
Just look at Rayleigh.
Yeah, Rayleigh swam himself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's really interesting. I thought, and I'm not sure if it was a video or some Reddit post, but I saw someone pointing out that from the start of the series until now, it's just like the time skip aside some month or something like that. In addition to the time skip, 2 years and some month, which is so wild. And I couldn't really figure out how they came up with that, because I don't recall that in the chapters we would get explicit statements of how long or how much later the Straw Hats actually arrived at the other islands. So I'm definitely on board with Doug's question there. That's a really good one.
I think I have a good one.
Yeah.
And how did the revolutionary like commanders or whatever, I think they're the commanders, right? What made them want to join, or like how did they join? I feel like that's something Oda would never show in the story, but it's like they're important enough and they're relevant enough that they're, you know, characters people know, but maybe not necessarily people we need to see the flashback of. I think that could be something he actually answers.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I see a couple in the chat that I think are really, really good.
Yeah, they are basically bombarding us with good ones right now. Go for it.
Like, so Brandon King said, was Kaido awakened? I think that's a great question to ask, because that's the type of thing that's kind of flirting the line on like, is Oda going to talk about it? But I feel like that he might answer it and say, like, no, he wasn't, but like he'll like give some kind of cryptic answer on like the future of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the like he would want to confirm to us that it didn't, so that we don't have ambiguity at all with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then he's not going to say anything else because it's too important. Like, so I could see him actually answering that one. And then another one that I saw was YC saying a question about Sengoku's goat. I think that would be amazing.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, I was curious what that was. It popped up like right when I was trying to read the question. I was like, are we still live?
Yeah.
Sengoku's goat would be great.
I just had oh god, don't tell me I just lost it. No.
Oh, you will remember it. Brandon King asked, "Is Uta alive in the world?" Good question, actually.
Zach, what was the first thing you said, bro? Because that's what caused it to.
Kaido awakening.
It was so close to Kaido awakening. It was so close.
And that Oda wouldn't give us anything more than no.
The cryptic answers. Yeah. All right. So the thing I thought, this is like a joke answer, and it was, it would be like, "Dear Oda Sensei, if you could have smoothie juice anything in the whole world, what would you want her to juice?"
Oh my god, that's so good.
That is such a question he would answer.
Yeah.
And you could take it in so many different directions.
And it would be
like,
something
it could
dirty.
Be a genuine question. It could, yeah, exactly. Because you know that Oda answers some of those, you know, from time to
time. Another one from Brandon King. What powers does Kong have? How does he fight? I mean,
Oda would be like, who?
He beats his chest.
Yeah,
he beats his
yeah,
chest,
exactly.
And, like, the hockey comes out from like the waves.
He can climb. He can climb up like skyscrapers. That's the thing.
Yeah, it could be Donkey Kong or King Kong. We don't know.
Yeah, true.
No, Oda wouldn't even know who the person was talking about because he forgot Kong. I mean,
Oh my
we
god.
did see Kong in like 1096, but that had to be an editor throwing that in because
Huh.
Oda forgot about that man.
Is there a little bit of salt there? Or
I just, he should be super important. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like at least like we should know a little bit about how he got his position. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
But,
He throws barrels. That's exactly that. He throws barrels.
Oh yeah, good. That's a good one. I love that.
I feel like Kong and Shiki are like right on that same path of you're so relevant to the fandom, but like no one actually, no one actually cares in the main narrative, and it's just like, bro, what's the point? We do not need to talk about them as much as we do. Like Bogart is another example.
Yeah.
It's like,
Who?
why are we talking about this?
Who?
Exactly. Why are we
Again?
talking about these people?
Mr. Rubik's, Kong is winning that easily. Kong is there's I don't even want to say no diff. It's
It
like
was
dividing by
Fleet
0.
Admiral.
It's just not applicable. Like it's just there's not even a fight there to be had.
I love this. Johan asked, do you think Kaido will come back? I don't think Kaido will come back. I think Big Mom might come back, actually. There are several reasons why that could be. First of all, because she said personally that she's not done with them yet.
Yep.
Secondly, because she's obviously tied to Elbaf, right? And then also because it took a lot of people and then too, Law and Kid to defeat her. And I think she didn't even go all out. Like she was handicapped by plot a lot, in my opinion. So I
And
really
she didn't even awaken, at least
Yeah.
confirmed. Which
I-
to me, if they don't say they awakened, then they didn't. That's like my
Yeah.
rule, because it's like they're
Agreed.
not going to do it. They're just there's no way, especially those two, right?
Yeah.
If one of like the Smile users awakened over on the side, like okay, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Like Kaido or Big Mom though, right? So Big Mom, like maybe she awakened while in the lava, and so did Kaido, and that's what saved them because they finally like lost a fight, because that's
Yeah.
what it takes, right?
she's highly
That loss
underrated.
is what
Yeah.
pushes them to go forward.
Yeah.
It's what pushes them to. I saw this video earlier. Earlier today, I was watching Jay. He streamed earlier today, and he watched. It was Morge's video that he put out. It was either today or yesterday that he put it out, and he said something along the lines of, "Okay, let's say all the Gorosei and all the admirals and Garp and Sengoku went against the Yonko, they would win." Right?
Yeah.
And that's not even counting Emu. And basically what he said was the admirals, Gorosei, Garp, Sengoku defeats all the Yonko, no questions, undoubtedly. And that's not even talking about the gods, knights, or Emu, or anything being involved in this, right? And I'm thinking to myself, there has to be something that could beat that. If we're purely hypotheticals, because
Yeah.
Luffy isn't included in that. He's talking about Shanks, Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. That's who he's talking about. And I'm like, okay, let's add Luffy. And then I know people don't want to hear it. Let's add Buggy. Because, Buggy's obviously got the followers, and
Yeah.
Mihawk and Croc.
Mhm.
Buggy obviously will no diff the Gorosei. But we don't want to hear that. If we have all the Yonko work together, obviously Whitebeard, he's out of the question. But like all 5 Yonko that are currently alive, because and Blackbeard. Let's say Blackbeard does work with them. I highly doubt it, but let's say he does. Like, if we had all the Yonko work together, that would be a great way to bring them, into the final war, obviously. Because there's no doubt these guys are still going to be relevant in some form or fashion. Excuse me. So I don't know. I think that has a lot of potential for what could, be the path going forward for Kaido and Big Mom. Like, Kaido, his whole thing was, oh, whoever defeats me is Joy Boy. What if he now knows, okay, Luffy's Joy Boy, I'm going to support him 100%. And then all of Kaido's troops are now just, Grand Fleet adjacent or whatever. And they just follow Luffy to the end. And Big Mom, let's say Luffy helps Big Mom, recover her memory with Mother Carmel or whatever. Or has some recollection with the Giants or whatever. It's something. She could obviously help join Luffy as well.
But I think
There you go.
Sorry. But what do you think would Big Mom do if she finds out that she actually, at least that's what we suppose, ate all the other kids and Mother Caramel? Like, wouldn't she freak out? Like,
Oh, definitely.
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's her like future character development. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I think, generally speaking, she's gonna get to Elbaf, go on another rampage just like she did all those years ago, but at some point learn that she ate Mother Caramel. Like, she's the reason why she hasn't seen her, mom, like her adopted mom, in all these years and all that stuff. And that's gonna break her into like I don't know if she's gonna die. I genuinely don't know what's gonna happen, but that's gonna actually move her to be like, where she's like, I'm the problem, right? Like that, because that's the whole thing. Like she doesn't know that. Like, even back when she was a kid with like the bear, she was like, I was just trying to stop their fight, and she like killed one of, or maybe both of them, whatever it was. And so it's the same thing. Like, she doesn't know that she is the issue with all of this, right?
Yeah.
But I think Elbaf is where that happens. And now does she like die, or does she like sacrifice herself or something? You know what I mean? Because she feels so bad and like to save somebody. Does she then like join Luffy's side almost? Like, I have no idea how that's really going to go down, but for sure that's what's going to happen, because all of Elbaf knows she ate the kids, because one of the giants said, like, one of the giants saw it, and like in the Oda box it says like, and now all of Elbaf has gone on to despise Big Mom. I forget exactly how it was, but it said they all knew about it. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and for me, I obviously would love if Big Mom showed up to Elbaf, just because I loved Whole Cake Island, I love her as a character, and I would like to see this fully concluded, right? But Kaido and Big Mom are literally like this. They are inseparable to me. So it's like, if Kaido isn't back and Big Mom is back, it feels wrong in a way almost, because they were constantly like paired together throughout the entire story. So I could easily see Kaido being like, let's say he's dead, right? He could be a homie that she makes, like a lava dragon homie from the volcano, like something awesome like that. And that'd be a cool way of bringing him into the story somehow. And if he's still around, if Big Mom's still around, I would love them to just be back together. Like Dax said earlier, the loss is what pushes them to be better. That would be amazing as well.
I mean,
there's so much potential.
She could possibly take in a part of his soul if he agreed on this.
Yeah.
I mean,
that could be the repayment.
Well, he owes her.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's like my favorite part of the idea. And also, what she could do is, remember how she upgraded Zeus to Hera? Well, she needs to upgrade Prometheus to like Vulcan, which like a lava homie. That was like a popular theory back when Wano ended. And if she can upgrade Prometheus to a lava homie, which is Vulcan, and maybe use some of Kaido's soul, because she may be very low on it because she used some of her own, during the battle and stuff. So maybe that's what happens, and then so she's able to get out because of that homie. And then Kaido, maybe, he knows he has like limited time left because he gave up some of his lifespan and he's already hurt and all this stuff. And so then maybe he does come back also, but just separately, because like she got out of there and maybe he didn't. Like what if that eruption that happened was like, that's what she turned into a homie, right? Like the lava from that while she like was flying out of it.
Yeah.
But maybe Kaido somehow like stuck behind, and they're just separated. I don't know.
Also, we saw Kaido becoming this hot fire dragon as well, right? So maybe there was a little bit of foreshadowing too. Oh, Kev's thinking.
Like if Kaido awakened while in the lava, he already put himself, covered himself in lava. So it's like maybe Big Mom turned that lava into a homie to escape, and Kaido just covered himself with it to stay there, and they just so they got separated because they both controlled the lava with awakening or something afterward, something to that effect.
Yeah, I really like that.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. So I personally don't think that Kaido awakened at all, because the way that Kaido's fruit works is that the dragon he's based on is like a peaceful dragon. It's not something that's like a vengeful, war dragon, which is obviously Kaido's goal, war. But now that he knows that Joy Boy is like a thing, maybe his mentality is switched, and that's what's going to allow him to awaken, right?
I like that.
Now, here's what I'm thinking. Let's say he's at Wano still. Let's say he's still there. He obviously has no reason to be there anymore, because his whole reason for being there was for this Joy Boy thing, for what we know at least. Now, here's what I'm thinking. This cover story, we got Yamato, we got Momo, and all that. It obviously could be this wholesome Yamato explores Wano story. It could easily be that. But as we know, last cover story we had, it was a Blackbeard bonanza. We got so much Blackbeard. We saw Blackbeard doing some crazy stuff on Whole Cake Island. Now we're on Wano, which just so happens to be inherently connected to Whole Cake Island. Blackbeard could easily show up, especially with Caribou leaking some info to Blackbeard. All right. Now hear me out. Imagine Kaido and Blackbeard are scuffling in the cover story, and then we see him awaken in the cover story, not in the main narrative, in the cover story. Dude, that would be elite. That would be elite.
Yeah, I
I'm
would
with
love
you
that.
100%, Kev. That was pretty much what my video was about, more or less.
Well,
So
if you want to
I'm
hear more of
100%
it,
with
then,
you.
then you can check.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll say this real quick just to tap onto that. So what I think Kaido's awakening is like is probably a celestial dragon, like actually, right? So like now what would that look like? Well, this is where I think it might tie into sapphire scale disease, because for one thing, you have blue, like really tough scales, like so maybe Kaido just he has like sapphire scales literally, but not like, obviously it would buff him, like he wouldn't be sick, right? Like he would be controlling it properly, because maybe the disease is based on the fruit, you know, originally, like that, he's trying to duplicate it, kind of like the Ice Oni virus, and which that's an Oni virus, ties to Kaido that way. Kaido's getting experimented on and Punk Hazards, all that kind of stuff.
That's really good.
But the main thing about the celestial dragon part is, remember, the sapphire scales got worse with sunlight, and so maybe Kaido is like stronger, like if whenever he awakens, he's stronger in the sun because he's able to like use the sunlight as power, in his attacks or whatever. And then maybe that could be a whole other kind of parallel to like Uranus or something, because maybe Uranus, time to the Mother Flame and all that, like maybe there's some connection. And what did the Mother Flame do? Vaporize the whole island. Like what if Kaido with his awakening can like charge him, like he gets a crazier Boro breath because he can charge it up with the sun, is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And then so that's why it's a celestial dragon, right? Because it's uses space, like the star power, sun, but it's a star. So like maybe it could fly around in space, and as long as it has suns or stars, to power it, you could go wherever. And that's like why it's why the government also wanted to duplicate it, why they got it at God Valley, right? There's so much to it.
Yeah, I love that.
I love the sun connection, because obviously Kaido, his whole motivation has been to find Joy Boy, the sun god, and now the sun is powering Kaido's abilities itself. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And like the sun god comes and beats him and unlocks those powers, where like Kaido didn't even get powered up by the sun until the sun god showed up. Now that the sun god's here, he can be even stronger and unlock his like true potential. So that's like for sure. But maybe Blackbeard just kills him before he can do too much, and then Blackbeard takes the fruit, because remember, rocks. See, it's not for sure, but I think it's pretty evident that the fruits at God Valley are the treasure that was taken from Hachinosu originally, because there's a lot of reasons, but I think that's the most likely scenario, and so that hints that Rocks already had that fruit, right? And he had it in his possession for some reason, so it was really important. So there's I don't know, there's so much to it.
So do you think Rocks is the one that so what we're getting at is, you're saying Rocks is the one that told Kaido about Joy Boy, right? That's what you're getting at right here?
Probably. I feel like that's the most likely. Yeah.
So do you think there were others that were like, let's say, do you think there were other fruits that he might have had that were like, oh, this one could definitely be something, like the paw fruit, how that could connect?
I think he had all 6. I think those 6 fruits at God Valley. Well, we know there's 2. We presume the other 4 chests have fruits in them. I think those were all at all at Hachinosu, and that's what was taken to become the prizes at God Valley, and that's why the Rocks crew is coming back. Like, give us it, and like, and there's that Big Mom Kaido thing. Like, Kaido's like, it'll be useless in your hands, Linlin, because like that would mean it's a devil fruit. Like, they're all immediately talking about how they're getting this treasure back. So I think it's at least Kaido's fruit, but probably all of them. So yeah, like maybe Rocks was keeping all the important ones that were needed for some plan, and that might be what Blackbeard is doing now, because he's collecting all the important fruits, and maybe now he's in the process of getting the ones that Rocks had. For whatever reason, Rocks was getting them together. So that's why he's going to go to Wano and serendipitously find Kaido's fruit, is basically what my video was saying. Like, whether Kaido died or he's near death now, because Blackbeard could just kill him, Blackbeard can get his fruit. For the paw fruit, There's S-Bear, a Seraphim that has it, and we don't know the other 4 yet, but maybe Blackbeard already has those 4 in his crew. We just don't know what they are or a way to get them.
So, what I'm thinking is I like the idea of you saying Blackbeard has them, but I think maybe it's other like Yonko or Rock's adjacent characters. It was their fruits, like maybe Big Mom's fruit, maybe like something crazy like
Whitebeard. He already got Whitebeards.
Whitebeards, yeah, and he was on the rocks, so that's 3 then technically. If it's Kuma, Kaido, and Whitebeard. Like I was thinking maybe that would be how Shiki's relevant. Maybe that's how Shiki's fruit comes into the story. There's a lot of potential for these guys to finally be out of the woodwork,
Especially with the Seraphim, because that's like a cheat code for Oda to give Blackbeard whatever fruits he wants without killing the characters off, right? Like, because Senor Pink didn't have to die.
That's a smart move,
blood. So now, like with Kuma, it's like, oh, like, do we want Vivi to eat the pawpaw fruit for example? Like, sure, that'd be really cool, but like if Blackbeard also needs it, well, maybe Vivi can eat it, but he also gets S-Bear, so they both have it's like Oda just cheated with that. I think that's genuinely what's going on is like the Seraphim are here to like be a threat for now, but mainly to give Blackbeard the powers he needs, and then they'll just probably get destroyed at some point, and then or like taken back after the plan's done, and then
Bro, I just had this crazy idea. Right?
Shoot.
I love that you said, let's say Vivi has the fruit and S-Bear has the fruit, and they're in like a sea chase right after each other, like the ships are chasing after each other. Vivi uses the paw on the Sunny, it goes flying away, but then S-Bear does the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, and they could keep doing it in the air, like to fly different directions or something. But then here's the kicker: Van Augur can warp onto the Sunny, and they don't even need the dude. Like Oda,
there's a lot of
he
warping
is like
going on.
the tools. He's there with like this massive tool set. It's just like, all right, let's put this way, this way. I love it.
It's gonna be epic. I definitely see you guys in the chat, but we are still discussing this, so bear with us. Because what's interesting for me is, why do they give these devil fruits as prizes in the first place on God Valley? Isn't it weird that they give devil fruits to the Celestial Dragons? In my opinion, it is. What do they want with this? What could they possibly do with that?
Well, like with Boa, they like give them to people for like entertainment.
Yeah.
Like torture them.
But it's dangerous at the same time.
But I think there's a trick here, and I think there's like a strong parallel to Dressrosa with the Colosseum, where like Doflamingo did that thinking he rigged the game and that Diamante was gonna get it, right? Like he didn't do that genuinely thinking, oh, some random bozo is gonna get this fruit. And so we look at God Valley. I mean, Garling was like cheating the system also, right? I think they made those prizes knowing like the Gods Knights were gonna win. Like, I mean, that was like the whole game. Is like, they're all taking them out, but the Gods Knights are gonna win. They're gonna get the most kills, which is so messed up.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I think like they give them to people for like fun, like because they're just cruel, like the Celestial Dragons. But I think with those important ones specifically, I think they knew like the Gods Knights were gonna get them, and like we want to buff the Gods Knights and have these fruits on our side, kind of like we buff our admirals with Logias. And I think that was the plan, and it just went awry basically.
Yeah, I'm definitely thrilled for the Gods Knights, like all these silhouettes we saw. But let me address something. Vex posted a super chat for $5 earlier. Said thoughts on a salt Logia could be ridiculous, overpowered, kinda a way to manipulate seawater, dehydrate things like Croc could season food, etc.
I love that idea. It could be like a salt crystal as well. You can do some like rock stuff. There's so much potential with the idea. That sounds like something that would be right up for like Whole Cake Island. Like I could have easily seen like, instead of those 2 twins with the long necks, right? They were like shooting arrows to the boat. Imagine one was like salt and one was pepper or something. Like I could just so easily see that being the case as like a Whole Cake Island fruit,
And you know, I wonder if the salt fruit could be like the improved version of the sand fruit. You know, like a upgraded, like we see that a few times now with Logias. I think that would be really cool.
He's cooking.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or it's like the preconceived upgrade, but then the sand fruit could also be the glass fruit. Like it's got to be something like, you know, it could be that.
And I want something like that to happen with the flame fruit and the magma fruit also, where like whenever when you awaken the flame fruit, it actually like the temperature gets hotter than magma or whatever. But then when the magma awakens, maybe the magma like it stays the same temperature because like it's just magma, which is like a, you know, it's like just molten rock, so like has a standard temperature of whatever. Like it could be hotter, but it doesn't need to be. So like flames, I don't know. I could see some kind of connection where like the flame fruit wins. And so I doubt we'll ever see the snow fruit beat the ice fruit, because I mean we've been waiting for the snow fruit to come back for years.
Yeah, Monet. We need Monet to return. I'm gonna be honest, that's some Sabo versus Akainu agenda right there, man. That's some Sabo versus Akainu. I saw Hidden made a tweet, I think it was either today or yesterday again, and he said Koby should fight Akainu, and I'm gonna be honest, completely agree. Because I've never been like a Sabo Akainu guy, because like it's either Luffy Akainu or no one. You know what I mean? It's like Luffy hates this dude. We've seen him, Luffy saw him with his eyes kill his brother. Like when he hears Akainu's name, he's in pain and he's angry. Like this is some vehement hatred. You know what I mean? Sabo didn't even know he was a thing until like, you know, what's it called? Like when it happened. Yeah. And Koby and Akainu, you know, they're like the antithesis of each other. That's why I'm like, this is the one right here. This is the one.
Well, you know, I think it's the same kind of thing with Koby and Kuzan, which I think is also a good fight.
Oh, I love that though.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Koby has no business beating either of those guys anytime soon. You know, like, and I know, you know, especially with the way that he gets stronger, because I know like he, you know, trained a lot to get stronger. Like, but that takes time to do. And so I think he would need to like keep training on the battleship bags for quite a while to get on that level probably. And so, you know, I don't know, that's kind of why I like the Sabo and Akainu agenda, because like you were talking with Luffy, like he saw his brother die in his arms and everything. Sabo's the only other one that could feel that pain to some level, right? He wasn't there, but that's his brother also, right? So that's my thing. But I will say, if it's not Sabo, then I feel like Dragon makes a lot of sense too, because like there's a connection between those two that we don't know yet, because like they're the same age. We know Dragon was in the Marines, so they're probably in the Marines at the same time. So I could see that, you know, because Dragon's gonna need a big time fight. So like Dragon's on that level too, so I could see that working. But yeah, it's just if Koby did it, it would just be like, man, you know, I don't know.
Shouldn't he get a big time fight? Shouldn't he?
Oh,
like,
I mean,
he's the Koby of the. I mean, he's the Luffy of the Marines. Like,
well, going back earlier to the idea that we get Garp Shadow into Kaido's corpse or to some corpse or something, have Koby fight that thing, because then it's like fighting Garp, basically, right? Because like it would be Garp Shadow. He has to actually surpass his master in combat.
See, that's why for me it's like the Koby Kuzan beef is so real to me right now. Like I need that. That is like, that's the one. Because I don't know, I just love they're both Garp's when Kuzan literally said, who are you going to choose, like your first protege or your favorite protege, like that, I felt it was like a twist with the knife to Garp. I was like, yeah, I want to see them beat the crap out of each other. Like the fact they were both using the battleship back, like there's so much there.
And also, like, we didn't even see like Aokiji or Kuzan awaken, and which we can assume he did because of Punk Hazard. Same thing with Akainu, which are like the two people we're talking about Koby fighting. It's like, you know, Kuzan now, like, did he beat Garp? I mean, he had like a lot of help, obviously, but he kind of won. But also, he didn't get to awaken, presumably because it would like destroy Hachinosu. So I think in like a true all-out 1v1, which they would have, when you also, you know, add awakening to the mix, it's just like, I don't know. It'd be tough to see Koby get that kind of growth that quickly. You know, like that would be pretty insane.
But think about it. Roger's a hockey man. Garp's a hockey man. Like these are the top of the world, and they're hockey men.
Regarding that, like I'm pretty much on Hidden's side there. I'm not sure if you have seen his video on Koby, but he makes some good points for why Koby is pretty busted already. He's really strong. Like he basically destroyed Frutabag. Hidden brings up a good size comparison for Frutabag and Hachinosu, and it's pretty insane. He just does this with one punch. He's basically One Punch Man in this chapter, right? And he doesn't look like he's very exhausted after that. So I think the Koby stocks are too low at the moment. They could be way bigger, in my opinion.
Just how bad would the Admiral stocks plummet if they've been this strong for so long and then they lose? That's more so like, it's not that I'm sleeping on Koby, it's that
No.
I know the Admirals are legit and I don't want their I think they would feel cheapened if Koby comes in and beats one of them. Like I know Koby's had a lot of time to train, but if you go back and look at Marineford, like Koby's like terrified standing up to Akainu, and so I could get him maybe like boxing with Akainu for a bit to like show his growth. Like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
But like beating him is
no.
like Whitebeard could. I mean, if I don't want to get into a whole power scaling thing, but like
Whitebeard.
But like Whitebeard, I know, but like Whitebeard, was getting cooked by Akainu, and like obviously he was sick and had a lot of other stuff to worry about, obviously. But I'm just like, if Koby comes in and takes care of that business, it's just. Man, like it would feel like Akainu fell off, I guess is what I'm.
I mean, it is the end of the story. To be fair, like this is the end game we're talking about. If Koby's going to have a big fight, which he should, in my opinion, since he's like Luffy's first ally in the entire story, and he's been built up to have not the same growth, but like the same journey of like, oh, look at all this training I've done, look how strong I am. Like, what better time than now? Because Koby's dream is to be an admiral. If he beats an admiral, he basically is one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is his dream. And if it's all like the end game, then if Koby just fights like the Garp shadow thing, like that's not related to his dream of being an admiral.
Well, I think it's like Rox and Roger teaming up at God Valley. Like that, Koby needs to have that moment, and that's gonna be his fight, because that would presumably happen when Luffy's going to be fighting Blackbeard, right? Like that, because Blackbeard has Rock's will, and that's like a Roger parallel. No. So that's why whenever I see Koby, I'm like, it's going to be something there where he's fighting some force to, not that he's going to help fight Blackbeard specifically, but some force that Blackbeard has, Koby's going to help fight against that in the meantime to fulfill that parallel. And like that'll be very close to the end of the story because Luffy's fighting Blackbeard at that point, right? So like that could be the next to last fight that Luffy has probably. And also, and I know there's like a lot of like potential reasons for Koby fighting other Marines, which like Kuzan isn't a Marine anymore, so that would be different. But like for Akainu, and I get because Kainu is obviously brutal, like unnecessarily and all that stuff. But it's just like, I think it'd be weird if Koby's final fight or like his biggest fight was against a Marine. Like you know what I mean? Like it should be against pirates or like, other people that are threatening.
Obviously, in my opinion, his last fight might be against Luffy, no? Because isn't that what he said?
He's the Garp.
That'd be cool.
He's the Garp, yeah.
That'd be cool. I like that. I mean, he would lose.
Yeah. I mean, he has these battleship bags, right?
We saw them in Marineford. We saw what happened. It's like, hey, Koby, and he ran away.
But to be fair, if Koby's lacking something right now, it's probably experience. So I definitely hear you, Dak, when you say that he's probably not having the edge against experienced guys like Akainu or Kuzan. But he might get there at some point. But I mean, I have this wacky video where I actually talk about that all three admirals will actually stand by Luffy's side in the end and fight against Imu. Some people don't want to hear it, I get it, but so maybe they will be allies anyway. But I got some hate for this actually, so let's not talk about that.
Hey, I like John Sherrod John Sherrod's take in the chat here. Kobe final fight will be against Awakened Alvida.
Okay, but how is he gonna punch her if she's
Hey.
just so slippy?
Well, but no cap. I want that fight. I want him to fight out, like, even if it's just a one shot, right? Like he just runs in, like they're fighting the cross guild, and he just one shots or just whatever. Like I think that would be so cool.
He beats the fruit out of her.
He is a Yonko commander, so
And,
that's
like,
a stat.
And Garp might get sold to cross guild. So what if we get another saving thing where Kobe goes in to go save Garp from an emperor, like
the Davy back fight, and the prize is Garp. Oh my god!
But
oh my god!
Since you mentioned Alvida, I had that city thought some time ago. I looked at Alvida and I was like, wait, did Oda actually plan her to be Ace's mom at first? Because if you want to Google it real quick, look at Alvida's face and then look at Ace.
The freckles and the black hair. Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Maybe at one point.
We don't know Alvida's full name, do we?
Oh my god.
As the Alvida.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
I mean, they both start with A as well. They both start with A.
Yeah, I mean, Rouge
You
makes
heard
no
it
sense,
here
right? She has like red hair or something like that. Maybe it was all a decoy.
That's Ace's sister.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Sorry that I always bring up stuff like that.
No, it's fine. That blew me away. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if my emotional just chart on my face just like, it plummeted. It was just like, wait.
if you need someone with an eye for stupid stuff, just ask me. John Jarrett earlier asked that he wants to hear
On all socials.
Yeah, it's always on all socials.
On all socials.
that he wants to hear us cook about, or actually he wants to hear Dak cook about the greatest Gorosei member, which was I think Topman.
If I go to my recent poll,
his Conqueror's feet though.
Well, well, if we need to figure out who the greatest Gorosei member is, let me go and look at the poll I did, where people are ranking
we know
their
it's the
favorite
horse
ones.
guy. We know it's the horse.
Wait, no.
We need to focus on who's in last place, and that is the Topman. He is not at the top.
God.
It's Flopman.
He's in the bottom, man.
Wait,
Flopman?
Wait. According to your poll,
Flopman Warcury, 4%. I had 13,000 votes on this, and 4% picked the Flopman.
What do they have against
we
piggies?
got it. Flopman's fire, but he got to be something different. It could be like Boar Curie, Snore Curie.
Oh, Flopman, Boar Curie. Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. Yeah.
Hey, I was trying to think of something last night. It's like I don't know what War Curie.
Pork
something
Fury.
With crying is what I was thinking. Like Curie could be crying because he's in last place. But but obviously, the horse, Nostro, he came in first by
he's
a
too
massive
cold.
margin.
I mean, just because he's
too
sliding
cold,
with the cold sword stuff, like I really think that I already forgot Mars. I really like the bird thing.
Yeah, it's Made. That's a dope one for sure.
Yeah.
I will say though, Topman, he did show something in that last shot. That Conqueror's feat was insane. That was actually insane stuff. And I mean, he is the top man, presumably, if his name does mean anything. So that's a lot to live up to. So hopefully he does more stuff.
Definitely.
Also, his tusks turning into swords, that was awesome. That was pretty awesome.
But he got stopped by two dudes who lost to Mr. 3.
Okay, well, I mean, Randy put them in his top 30. So, is Mr. 3 top 10?
Oh god. Is this gonna become a post-game stream now?
He might be number 3.
Mr. Top 30 at least, man.
Oh, definitely.
Poor Curie.
Topman won't be in the top 30. He's not the top man in that regard.
Okay. While we are doing this, I need to use the restroom. So I leave you with a very, very important question: who would win, 5,000 Kung Fu Dugongs or Kaido? Be right back.
Said 5,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can we give these Kung Fu Dugongs fruits?
Yeah, let's just take it and run with it, Kev. Let's just make an excuse on how the Dugongs would win, because obviously they would lose if it was just straight up regular Dugongs.
Yeah, because if there's 5,000 of them, that's 5,000 fruits minimum. You know, like,
and we can do real ones, not smiles. Although I don't know if there's even 5,000 devil fruits, but we'll just assume that there is, that are all available.
there are millions of islands. You know, there are millions of islands, so there could be even more devil fruits than we even know.
In the anime, they showed the Dugongs had hockey, right? So
Yeah, true. Or
we can-
Vegapunk could make artificial.
Oh,
Like, let's say he
the
made
CVs.
5,000 Momo devil fruits, right? Let's say he made 5,000 Momo devil fruits. We give them all to the Dugongs. Give them all to the Dugongs.
And they're also Dugong Seraphim.
Oh,
They're not
true.
just-
So they can switch out.
Yeah. So they're not just regular
out the-
Dugongs; they're Dugong Seraphim, and yeah, they have different abilities that they can all swap out. They're like the regular Seraphim, but like we have 5,000 different powers.
It could
All right,
be.
well, we figured
like,
it out.
What fruits do they have on lock? Like, what do they have? The government has.
Well,
they
it's got to
have
be
Croc.
Paramecias.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't have Croc. They have poison
Definitely poison.
because the Logias don't count. They have Fujitora's fruit. 5,000 Kung Fu
for sure.
Dugongs with Fujitora's fruit.
Just pushing Kaido down with the gravity. Oh my god. Oh, there's got to be some. I mean, the vice admiral.
They have the string fruit.
Oh, they have. Definitely got to put
The bird
string
cage.
in there.
5,000 bird cages.
Yep.
Oh,
We
my
figured
God.
it out. Hey, Marth, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, so it's the Dugongs, but given a couple caveats that I think are reasonable. I don't think these break any rules.
Exactly. They
so
definitely
they're
have conquerors.
Oh, they do. Okay, yeah.
Well, so what we said, Marth, is that it's going to be 5,000 Dugong Seraphim, specifically, and they're all going to have different devil fruits. You know, like for instance, some can have Fujitoras, some can have the string. You can get the poison fruit. You can get whatever else they have stockpiled. I mean, maybe you can duplicate some more of Kaido's fruits. Like get a couple more Momo fruits in there. Just give them that in general. Just let them eat it. Who cares? And then just imagine Kaido just getting like bird caged, you know, held down by, you know, the gravity. Like, I mean, we're talking 5,000.
I mean,
they could have Boa's fruit.
Do they even?
That's a Paramecia.
Do they even need devil fruits? I mean, they could just learn fishman karate, though.
True, fishman karate.
And they live in the water and all that. Imagine what they could do with that.
Fishman karate, you know, that could be a whole nother avenue.
Just imagine 5,000 Kung Fu Dugongs going like this.
Maybe they could do like you know the King Punch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They charge it up.
Yeah. Exactly.
It could be the same thing where they charge it up together. Like
4,999 distract Kaido while one is doing
It's like it's like one massive punch versus like what would it be, 5,000 or would it be 10,000 if they use both their
Yeah,
hands
there
at
you go.
once?
There you go. They use
know?
both hands at once. Yes.
It's like
I love it.
a bed of nails. How
Yeah.
all these small impacts and it's all in one object.
Also, flying isn't helpful because they can just do what Zoro or Sanji always does with Zoro, right? Like one of them kicks another one up, and then they just keep throwing each other towards Kaido. Use fishman karate with water attacks. All right, silly questions aside.
And I know they're Kung Fu Dugongs. They're Kung Fu Dugongs.
Yeah.
And Kung Fu does a lot of stuff with pressure points. You know, they're knowledgeable on Kung Fu, so they would know pressure points. So the amount of the attack doesn't matter as much as the specific, precise impact of that location. You know, if there's 5,000 of them, they could climb onto Kaido and like attack those specific pressure points.
Yeah, and it's a Chinese martial art, right? Kung Fu, and Kaido is a Chinese dragon, which is basically effective. Okay. So we had that earlier in chapter 1111. Do you think the giant warrior pirates were just close by, or how do they explain their immediate appearance on Egghead shortly after hearing the news? Because that was really wild to me. Like, they say they hear the news, and then they were there like this. They must have been close by, no?
I feel like what I was saying earlier about like the ship is so big and the sail caught so much, and they're probably also paddling. You know, like I feel like because they're giants, like if they were just normal sized people, they wouldn't be there for forever. But I think it's like I said, the amount of like the force that they're able to get because of how big they are. I think that's the reason they got there so fast.
So
Yeah,
you say,
it-
yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'll say, and a big thing which the chat's saying is Elbaf just also has to be really close. Like,
Yeah, because it was Kid, Law, Luffy. Like they all were like pretty close in proximity. And Kid and Luffy were right next to each other, if I remember correctly.
yep, they're closer than Winter Island was to Elbaf.
And maybe some
Pretty
other
little.
giant on Elbaf did what they did with the Mary back then, and they gave
like,
them a little
sends it
boost.
flying.
Yeah.
Like which that's how I think we're getting out of Egghead is the Giants do that to us with the Mary and have us like just fly away basically.
Yeah. But it's weird, no? I mean, even if it's close, the news basically started. Is the news the Vegapunk broadcast, or?
No, it's the thing from Morgan's where he said that he was making a thing like Luffy has Vegapunk held hostage is like the story that was printed.
But how many days are they on Egghead? Like, if you ask me, I would say probably maximum 2 days. I don't know. Like, how quick did he
They
get
got there
hold of
yesterday.
it? Right?
And the thing is that the evacuation ship or whatever that was sent, like that they that was destroyed by the Giants. Well, like it was today, like we're talking probably 30 minutes ago, an hour ago from current time, where Saturn gave the order to destroy that ship. But the thing is that the guy, I forget which Vice Admiral that was telling him this, said like we've tracked and found it already. And so it's like, okay, so the evacuation ship left yesterday and you've been tracking it this whole time, and so you're close to it. And so I presume that ship is like a day away from the island, right? Because it's been sailing for a day. And then we see it get destroyed right after that, and it's like, okay, how did you make up that ground so quickly? And so Oda must be messing with like the timing of things somewhere, but I think it has to be that Elbaf is just like super close, like less than a day away sailing or something.
But maybe I'm messing up in my head right now, but I think it was not the evacuation ship that got destroyed, but the CP or marine ship that was sent after them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, then I misunderstood you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I probably misspoke, but you're right. That's the right thing. Like the one they sent after it. But you would imagine like, that ship got away, like I said, for a full day, and they tracked it. So like, the ships should have been near each other. So it's like when you see that marine one blown up, the Scholar ship should be pretty close to that because they were tracking it. So it's like, how'd you get so far?
So you don't think there's like some mysterious power they're using? Because remember when they were talking about these undersea travel, how did they call them? These undersea
dragon
roads?
current? Like
dragon
the
current.
undercurrent?
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe they use something like that.
Well, Shanks, I think Parvision had a video on this like a year ago. I can't remember, but I've always thought like, whether it's the Dragon Current or like the underworld in general, like Shanks, I think has like an in with like these secret underground routes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, like he knows about the secret stuff. And with him being involved in Elbaf somehow with the Giants, it wouldn't surprise me if he's like, hey, if you want to get to Elbaf really quickly, just do these two things and you're going to catch a current that goes super fast. Like I could see that.
Okay. You got any more thoughts on that, Kev, or?
I'm trying to, like I said, I feel like it could be something like them getting pushed by the attack as well. Like I definitely think that's the reason they could have got there faster as well.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I definitely think Dragon does know about stuff like that though, like the secret, not like secrets necessarily, but like how to move fast in the world. Like that just seems right up his alley. Like,
yeah.
Because for me, something I predicted for a long time, like is like Morley, he's able to travel under the ground and all that. Like if the Revs were going to show up on Egghead, that's how. Like they're just literally gonna pop right out of the ground using like Morley's ability. Because that's how level 5.5 Impel Down was made. That's how they snuck into the Reverie.
Marineford.
Because Morley went right up the. Oh yeah, that's Whitebeard, but he did that as well. I don't know. I feel like that's something that's just right up the alley for like the more secretive, traveling through the world.
Yeah. I got another question, which is,
Okay.
if Joy Boy was a Joy Girl instead, which character would they be?
Mm.
You got any favorites?
Their name would probably be Sophie. But
No, but I mean, of all the characters we know, right? So
okay.
some would probably argue it could be Big Mom, right? But what are your thoughts?
Maybe like Tama. That doesn't
Tama.
seem like a bad reasoning, you know, like someone who has met Ace, someone who was inspired by Ace, from Wano, which would be perfect, obviously, since Kaido was looking for someone named, Joy Boy in Wano. Could easily be that. Vivi maybe, Bonnie maybe.
I think
Bonnie
Vivi is a good one. But Vivi's like too smart. You know what I mean? Like she's
Vivi
like
knows too
politically
much.
savvy. like Luffy learns stuff from Vivi. You know what I mean? Like how to like be a better captain. Like don't go in, being so abrasive all the time.
Makes sense.
So I mean, I think Vivi in terms of like overall will makes sense, but just not the personality. If that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
if we go into that direction, could be Shirahoshi.
Yeah, because Shirahoshi's goal is to like get out of the ocean. You know what I mean? Like see the sun and the forest and all that stuff. So it's like being free in that sense of where she's from. So I like Shirahoshi. That makes a lot of sense. I think Tama might be the best one, honestly. That's a really good answer.
But Tama is like, I don't really see her fighting. Like it's more like she lets other people fight, which is not a problem. But I think
I mean, I thought it was more just the
she's
personality. Yeah, and Tama's whole thing is like becoming friends with people as well. That's like her whole ability. Not
true.
Well, probably not in the best ways. It's pretty much brainwashing.
Slave animals.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like that could easily be a reasoning as to why. Because Joy Boy was supposed to be like the friend of all beasts, and that's what Tama's ability lets her do. You know.
So I got another question. How do you guys think does the ancient weapon Uranus look? Because we got Poseidon, right? Clearly, Dak has his thoughts on Pluton. So, what do you guys think about Uranus? Have you ever thought about that?
It's gonna look like a dragon. You
Really?
know, like there's gonna be. I don't know like what the funny twist will be of it, but I think it's gonna be a blue dragon somewhere in the realm of Kaido and Nola from Skypiea, and it'll just I'm sure there'll be a funny element to it. Like maybe it'll be so like if you look at like the Itsumade, like Mars is like I think the Itsumade is based on like a flying snake bird dragon thing. Like it's a snake and a bird like combined basically or something like that. So it's like kind of like a dragon in essence. But so I could see something like that where like it's not just a snake or dragon, but like there's some feathers involved. So it's like a bird. And I guess I'll just add onto this just real quick in conjunction the Mother Flame, because that's pretty similar. I do think the Mother Flame is gonna look like a giant chicken or something. And it's gonna lay a bunch of giant weather eggs, and those are like the beams that come down.
No
way. Weather eggs.
Wait.
So the Mother Flame is like a mother hen that drops eggs, because like we've seen. Like weather eggs have been a big thing. We have Egghead Island, right, where he already made another egg. And then if you look at the dialogue with York's like recharge or like I can replicate it, or like I'm glad I sent it. I forget what the dialogue is, but like it makes it feel like there's like ammo, like you need the power source to make more Mother Flames basically. And so I feel like it's just like each Mother Flame is just like a giant robot chicken that just lays weather eggs that are like crazy strong, and then that's it.
I like that. I like how you tied it into the location of the island as well. Like the Mother Flame is unleashed onto the world, and that's why the egg is open.
Yep, it cracks open. Yep.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
But it's also like I put the Oro Jackson there on the stream with the egg on it. So because I think it's connected to that in Strong World. I think it was Strong World. We saw chapter was it chapter 0? Yeah, we saw how Shiki was fighting against Roger, right? It said, I heard you got grip on the hold of an ancient weapon, handed over, right?
Yeah, the
And I
location
mean,
of
it's
the ancient weapon.
yeah, or that, right? But for me, it was like the only thing that's with Roger right now that we don't know much about it is that freaking egg. Like, it's not been
There you
addressed
go.
once. So, in my opinion, whatever is in that egg might be connected to Uranus. And I feel like at first I was like, they may have left it on Naftel, but then it just took me a second to look it up, and they still had the egg when they came back from it. So they didn't. But where is that thing now? Was it you, Deck, who had that theory with... didn't you have a theory on the deck already? With the man with the burn scar? Or
What, Mass Deuce?
was that you? No,
The
no.
man with the burn scar?
No. I think
That's
someone
my
had
theory.
a theory with the man with the burn scar and the Oro Jackson that basically the egg hatched. Oh, man. There are so many great content creators out there. Like I'm really losing track of who made which theory.
I mean,
Was it hidden?
might have been.
The egg hatching is the thing that's throwing me off.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I've heard
because I think
Mass Juice,
yeah.
Man with the burn scar,
No,
Oro
no.
Jackson all connected, but not the egg hatching.
No, we just mixed it all up. But I think the theory.
So it is just the man marked by flames.
Yeah. The theory
and Oro
went something
Jackson.
like there is a dragon in the egg and it hatched, and that's why the ship's black now, and the dude on it has a burn scar because the dragon spits fire. I think that's like the
Yeah, I've
gist
never
of the
heard
theory.
that.
Never heard
I'm
it.
not sure.
Where did I hear that?
If someone in chat knows,
Yeah,
feel
man.
free to let us know.
The chat is all knowing
Definitely.
usually.
Definitely agree though that like when the egg had Uranus inside, or like it is Uranus already, right? Like by but like it did hatch at some point. Now it's just gonna be like a scary creature. Well, it's gonna be a scary creature, but like with some funny layers to it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like how like for Poseidon, like Shirahoshi isn't threatening herself, but whenever she calls the Sea Kings in, it's terrifying. It's like there's like a cute side and a scary side, you know.
Yeah, I really like the chicken idea. It's so like it's
Yeah,
so
it's good.
stupid. That's why I like it, because it's Oda, it's so Oda, you know. It's
Yeah.
just like cute little chicken, weapon of mass destruction, and I love the imagery of like the egg pops out and it's like a bomb dropping from like the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's so
That's
awesome.
exactly it. Like, because the thing is you see all the different beams come down from the mother flame, and so that, but you see like one object to go above the Lucia. So in my mind, it's like just imagine like the chicken flies over, which like they can't
that's so
really fly,
hilarious. I love it.
but it flies over and then just lays just a bunch of eggs, and they
Yeah.
all just and then the chicken might just be done, and just like it's like a one-use thing. That's why they said, can you replicate the mother flame to York? Like, are you able to make it again? Is basically the thing. That's why I think it's like an ammo situation. Like mother
Yeah, it
flame is
could
probably a
be-
one-use
It's
thing.
got to recharge. Oh, I was thinking it's got to like recharge, because obviously chickens can have multiple eggs, in real life, and maybe they just want more, because the more they have, the more they can do this stuff.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
also
I
have
love that idea.
we
That's
also
awesome.
have Baron
But it would be
Tamago,
like
right?
what'd you say? Baron Tamago?
Yeah. So like
That's another great connection.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it could be like a nuke basically, right? Because like whenever you have, because that's basically what it was at Lucia, is like it's a bomb, right? Like that's basically what happened. And so like and also whenever you think about like the ancient weapons, like Pluton and Uranus, they also tie to the elements that were used in the first two atomic bombs that were used, plutonium and uranium. Like there's one of each. And so it's just like you think about this, people are making comparisons to the Mother Flame, with ancient weapons. And so I'm just like, Mother Flame might just be like a nuke, basically. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it's like, so it's a one-use thing. And so that's why, like, can you replicate it? Can you make more of those bombs? That worked really well. Like, that's how I'm kind of envisioning it. And that's why York's like, well, I need the power station, but yes, like as long as I have my lab and the power station, I can keep making more of these things. Because it's probably like it's like like Einstein, like learning, nuclear fusion or whatever back in the day, or like with like the race for nuclear weapons. And it's like, like York might, that power source is what enables the bombs to be made. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the chicken idea, just the thought of it, where we see it for the first time, and there's this like big either mechanic or like cyborg or mixed chicken, and it goes like bark, and then it lays this kind of cloud. That's so hilarious.
Yeah, it would be such an Oda thing, because like think about the other ancient weapons. I and a lot of people think they're probably going to be living things, and so making it into like a robot chicken would just be, I don't know.
Yeah,
I love it.
And that kind of goes to what I thought Uranus was going to be, which is the idea of it doesn't necessarily matter, but the idea that the world government like has taken it and they've tampered with it in some fashion, that it's like not able to be what it was in some form. Like with the chicken idea, it's getting like roboticized in some fashion. It's like a defiance against nature itself, which is ironic, because that's what the devil fruits are supposed to be. That's what Emu is, with it being like it's immortal thing. Everything about the world government is just wrong. So the weapon they use being this like cybernetic thing is kind of cool to me.
Yeah, like Starnet Edilex like takes that recipe and keeps cooking with it. He said the egg could be like how Piccolo was born. The previous Uranus laid that egg right before dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I love that.
It could be like a phoenix situation, except instead of like rising straight out of the ashes, it's just like the egg is there to like keep the cycle going.
That's really good
for sure.
Let's go to the next question.
That is kind of crazy. So Will of Dreams said, copyright infringement, Oda, robot chicken. Though in Zelda, the cuckoo are deadly, and that's a crazy segue. That he mentioned the cuckoo, which is like this cute little chicken in Zelda, but if you hit it, then like a ton of them start flooding at you. It's like it's in every single Zelda game. It's so cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and in my idea, I think Egghead has had a ton of like video gamey, pop culture references. So I thought that Uranus was going to be based off of something from that, and I thought Uranus was going to be based off of the windfish from Zelda, not just because of the Egghead hologram, nothing is really real thing that has been a debate for a long time, but also because in Link's Awakening, the game the windfish is from, they go into an egg to get the creature. The windfish itself has like enough laser like things on it that perfectly matches up with the lasers that happened on Lucia. There's just a lot. I could go into it, but I don't want to like completely.
Don't worry.
Whatever.
I think, in my opinion, Uranus, since Oda is such a Star Wars fan, I could think like it might be some kind of Death Star related thing, something that's in space or floats in sky and can go into space and back, something like that. But I wanted to ask the next question, which is, what do you think is the reason for why there is a big wooden cross on Magi Island? Have you guys ever thought about that?
Talk about Mihawk's Island?
Yes, sir. Kuraigana Island is the Japanese name, if I remember it right. In the cover stories, we see Zoro standing in front of the cross. And right around it, there is lots of rubble and ruins.
Probably a lot of people died there a long time ago, and somebody was buried there that's important, and Mihawk probably knows who that is.
But the thing is,
probably like respects them. You
can see some roots coming out of the cross.
It's been there for that long, it started growing out. That's what. Yeah, and Mihawk obviously loves the place because it's isolated, quiet, and eerie. But it's probably isolated, quiet, and eerie because something insane happened there probably a long time ago, maybe even during the Void Century. If like a normal piece of wood is able to grow roots out of it, like that is impossible in like real world standards, unless it's like become a part of the environment. You know what I mean? And I don't know, Mihawk's whole imagery is like very gothic, like vampires, crosses, stuff like that. So it definitely ties it to not just his character, but what he might know about the world as well. There's a lot of potential for that, I think.
my headcanon on this is that it's probably related to Green Bull in a way. That this island might have experienced some kind of buster call in the past, and Green Bull more or less made this cross out of whatever was there before as a warning.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. I can see Deck is thinking hard right now.
You know what'd be really interesting?
Reading the chat hard.
Yeah, oh, I see.
You know what'd be really interesting? So obviously this place is also like Nightmare Before Christmas inspired with like the swirly hills. But what if they're not hills? What if they're roots? You mentioned Green Bull. What if they're the roots from the cross and they went all the way over the island? So it could be Green Bull's fruit that's
a cool one.
Made the terrain look like that. Because we've seen obviously admirals, using their abilities can change the terrain of a location super easily. And there's even speculation like Raijin Island is like Enel's fruit. An awakened Enel's fruit, did that.
I like TJ's take on it. Maybe the course is there to fend off evil spirits or some shit. That's what he says.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like not many people thought about that because I don't really find any theories on it. But it's bugging me since I saw it. I wonder why Oda is showing us that without any explanation.
I'm wondering if it could be a Sphinx Island parallel where like Marco is there protecting Sphinx because, well, partially because Whitebeard's like inheritance and stuff might be there, like his his treasure or whatever, but also because like the graves are there, and like don't want those to get messed up, and so it could be a parallel there where like maybe Mihawk's here because someone really important to him or his family or like his religion or whatever. Died here a long time ago, and he's like making sure no one desecrates it.
Yeah, and there's been a bunch of like cross imagery in One Piece outside of this. Obviously, like Kuma's church had the cross. Mother Carmel obviously is basically just a nun.
Thriller Bark,
really, but you know what I mean. The Thriller Bark is a ton of them as well. Obviously, this could be something like that.
Religion is definitely something that will play a big role in the future. Unless they all have to have faith in Luffy. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Like as I don't know if you guys think this is corny, but I like it. Like unironically, you know how with Bonnie's fruit, her fruit got weaker after like not being able to believe in something. After Saturn was like, look, the world is not like this, and then she literally could not be as strong as she was before. I feel like we're gonna have an inverse of that during the end game, where people are gonna see, oh, Luffy's the good guy. Oh, the sun god is real, and they're gonna start believing in Luffy, making Luffy stronger. Kind of like a spirit bomb kind of thing, where they like believe in him and he gets stronger. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? I think that's gonna happen, because it's kind of like meta. Because like we believe in Luffy, and then the world believes in Luffy. You know what I mean? It's like this. It's almost like the final war of One Piece is going to be something that we read in the real world, but the people in the One Piece world experience, but we're experiencing it at the same time. It's like very layered in that way, and I feel like that'll be something that Oda does around the end game. Where we believe in Luffy, and the world believes in Luffy, so Luffy gets stronger. It's like if Dora the Explorer asks, like, where are we going? Shit like that.
Yeah. Mr. Rubik said, we know that there was a constant fighting on Muggy Island, which is why the baboons learned warfare. So maybe the conflict was over religion. Possible,
maybe.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Mihawk. Okay, one more question. Wait, where was my thingy? Here. Which is, what do you guys think? Why did Oda choose exactly these transformations for the Gorosei? I feel like you maybe already put some more research into this than I did, probably, but he could have chosen anything, right? But right when Dune is a thing, we have the sandworm, and also Saturn becoming the spider. Like they are not all yokai, but some of them. It's like a wild mix of things. So have you thought about that?
Yeah. It's like it doesn't necessarily matter that they're yokai or not. They're these nightmarish creatures from like multiple mythologies, multiple whatever. I think that's what makes it more interesting. Because if they were all yokai, that would kind of like boil it down to like one thing, in my opinion. And it being like a more wide spectrum, like don't get me wrong, it's not too crazy. Three of them are yokai, obviously, but having it be more varied than that, I think is cool, because it allows for us to kind of think, all right, so what is the connection here? You know, like this question doesn't have to exist if they're just all yokai. You know, that would kind of like make it not seem as interesting. And I think Oda taking it from like different sort of cultures and stuff makes it seem as though that's how strong they are necessarily, that the entire real world's mythological creatures are what's in charge here. Like it shows like these myths or whatever that are like haunting people for hundreds of years. They're the leaders of this place, you know? And that makes you wonder, like, what is Emu then? What is Emu really, you know? And it makes it a lot more open to interpretation than just a yokai again.
Yeah.
Which obviously Emu could be. But, you know, it makes it more open. I like that. It's fun. It's fun.
But it's the reason why I asked this is that they are, I mean, they might be well known in the countries where they come from, right? But in general, he could have gone for way bigger evil than the ones he chose, right? And this is it's kind of weird to me. Like either they can transform in other beings, or he has like a specific reason for why he choose exactly them. I feel like why did he give Saturn this spider form when he could have given him something that's maybe better known in our world? Like, funnily enough, yeah.
Well, I'll say this. I think as far as like the yokai stuff, I'm not sure why some are like yokai or some are from other mythologies and whatever. I don't know about that, but I do think there's like definitely a purpose behind each one. For example, Mars looks like Gonfal, who's from the sky, and he's the bird one. So right there, you know, and also tying back to what I was saying about like Uranus, and like they had Nola, like a snake they worshipped, and Itsumade is technically like it's like a snake bird kind of thing, right? Yeah. So it's like there's a connection there. And then for like for Jupiter, the sandworm, that might be kind of like Pluton to some degree, right?
Tied to Alabaster, like maybe.
What's that? Maybe
tied to Alabaster, or yeah,
that too. Or arguably, I would even. It sounds kind of crazy, but think about the sea train. If there's like an underground sea train, it would be something like, you know, a giant worm. Like it would create a tunnel to be able to build a train.
I know where you're coming from. System.
So I think there's going to be a purpose behind each one, and then I think Saturn's the one I can't think of is Topman. I don't know if JJ's still watching, but you know, Topman's the worst one. So, but Saturn. But Saturn, I think, is one of the most interesting ones, because we've already seen someone who has powers just like him in Black Maria, right? Yeah. It was like a spider with horns, essentially, right? Her horns were like natural or whatever, but and you know, she ended up fighting Robin, and like there's like a lot of, you know, potential storylines you can think of between those two things, maybe later on for parallels, as far as like, I mean, right now, like Robin, you know, is trying to like reveal the Void Century and stuff. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like the Gorosei directly tied to Ohara directly. So it's like, I don't know. It's like we're kind of reliving that a little bit. It's like a better spider with horns, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like an upgraded version. So like, I think each of them are going to have some kind of connections, you know what I mean, to other things. It's like why they have those forms specifically. But I don't know why, like, you know, Jupiter's the only one that doesn't come from like a old mythology, right? Like, because it's like just a regular sandworm, and it's like, I forget what they put in the TCB thing, but it's not the same, right? It's like a different kind of legend. But and so it's like, does that maybe mean that he's going to be like the traitor or something? You know, maybe. So I don't know.
You came up with the underground tunnels, right? And he's a sandworm. So to to come with one of your theories. You know what moles eat, right?
I don't know. Well, they're herbivores, aren't they? I don't know.
No, yeah, they actually eat worms and all that.
Moles do eat worms.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So how funny would that be? If it's really a giant mole and it just comes and snack in.
That's actually a great idea.
You're welcome. I
like that.
It just popped into my head.
I like that. I'm down.
I think the only one I'm like 100% certain on is Saturn. Because obviously his whole thing is like viewing people as insects, but it's ironic since he himself is an insect. I feel like that's the one where I'm like, I can absolutely see where Oda was coming from with this. Like, there's no doubt in my mind he is that for a specific reason. But the rest of them I think are more open to like interpretations, like Dak with you saying Gonfal is like Mars, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's a great interpretation of that. And for example, Gandhi, who is like the horse one, right? His whole thing being like, oh, he's this like he's a swordsman, of course, but he's also this like deathly horse looking thing that's like skeletal in some fashion. And obviously we all think he's gonna fight Zoro. I think there's you know, zero variety. Like,
I feel like he's fighting Brook, actually.
Oh yeah, he's fighting Brook, man.
Okay,
100%.
so let's say he's fighting Zoro, right?
okay.
But like him having like this like deathly imagery, him having like this you know, him being a sword, all this stuff. I feel like it all builds up to like that. But the inspiration for that creature in specific is less important than what his imagery could be in relation to the Straw Hats or the world itself. You know, not the creature itself isn't what matters, it's how it relates to the world itself, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I like what Dak said about what's it called? Mars, the Mars one. You know, because it relates to a thing that's not just important, but it's important to who Luffy is, you know, the sun god from this place. So I think that's pretty cool.
But
and
yeah.
one thing, Kev, just real quick, talk about the insect stuff. I still think that parallel matters because like Saturn was the first one we met. You know what I mean? He was the first one to say a lot of that. But I thought it was really interesting last chapter where Mars made a comment calling them insects as well, right? Because he was like, I can't save a single insect while exterminating the hive or whatever, right? So it's like they all view humans like that, which is so crazy, you know, like they just don't care. Even
the people they work with. Like, you would think they actually would somewhat care about like Lucci and Kaku, but no, even they're insignificant, you know, because what's the point? They were people born below them, literally, you know.
yeah.
I actually really like that you brought that up, that line, because I thought that was really cool. How, and I brought this up while I was reacting to it because I really like the line, insect, and then eliminating the hive, and the fact that Hachinosu is called beehive. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's something they should really, because it's like the pirate capital of the whole world pretty much is beehive, which is obviously, you know, insects and all that. I just thought that was really, really interesting. Do you think maybe he called it that on purpose? Like, he's like, look, this is, because you could interpret it as full of lead. You could do that. But if, like, because obviously in Japanese it has the double meaning thing. Maybe he called it beehive first, but people interpreted it as, oh, full of lead and something like that. We've seen in One Piece, there's so many examples of, like, something is this, but people interpreted it as something different. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And that could even connect to rocks having a connection with the Gorosei. And I don't know. I think that could be pretty cool.
Talking about Jupiter, like, I had a thought on him lately. I think, like, he obviously looks the youngest of all the Gorosei, right? So my thought was that maybe that's why he is the strongest. Maybe because he was the one who was allowed to get the OP no Mi treatment first.
Okay.
That was my thought process on this. And the older the Gorosei get, the less priority they had because they were the weaker ones. What do you think about that?
Okay, that's neat. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Jupiter is like Zeus in a Roman mythology, right? And Zeus is obviously the guy in Greek mythology. So that wouldn't be shocking to me, you know.
Yeah. Actually, Zeus. You're right. I just googled it real quick.
Yeah. So I mean that
mhm.
that makes me buy it a lot more.
Yeah.
Because Zeus is the guy of Greek mythology.
Right.
You know, he's the top of the Mount Olympus. So I wouldn't doubt that. That's really interesting. I never thought about that.
Mm.
The age relating, well, not their age, but like the physical
Yeah.
looks relating to that.
Yeah, it always bugged me
really
that they said he's Sanji's dad or whatever because he looks young and all that. So I was like, there must be a reason to it. And it only makes sense, in my opinion, that he's just younger because he got the treatment first.
Mm.
Judging by that, Mars should probably be the oldest, just from the looks.
Yeah, Mars. It could be Mars. Could be Saturn. It could be the pig one.
I think the only issue there, I think, is like looking at the gap between Jupiter and the other guys. It's like young, and then they're all old, and it's like if it took that long to go between doing the first one and the second one, then if it took equally as long for the third, fourth, fifth, you know, they would all be dead by then. You know what I'm saying? If it took that long, like they wouldn't be able to wait.
True. Yeah.
So I almost wonder if like maybe just Jupiter replaced one of them. You know, one of them died and they had to get a new one, and
That's
so they
a
just
good
got
one.
a young guy.
I like that too.
Give him his fruit, probably.
Yeah, and so Oda made him look younger to exemplify like he's newer, like he's from a more recent time in general.
Okay, I have a crazy theory just pulling out right now. We're saying that Jupiter, right? He's the one that died, right? What if Rox killed him? That doesn't seem like the craziest, you know, reach. If we're saying Rox is like the guy before Roger, and I'm gonna be for real, I don't think Roger would kill a Gorosei member. I feel like he would try and avoid them as much as possible. He definitely could, though. He definitely could. But I feel like Rox would try and attack them. You know what I mean? That just seems way more in his character. So I don't know. That could be a reason.
Well, it's funny you say that because I think if that happened, that might be a tie to like what's going on with Blackbeard. Because like, what if, you know, for example, what if like the Gorosei who died, what if his powers went into Blackbeard? So it's not Blackbeard doesn't have like a fruit, because they seem like to have some kind of special sauce, like they're actually demons or something's going on, right? So what if Blackbeard, like as a kid, like he was just like 2 years old at the time, what if like the old Gorosei died and then his powers went into Blackbeard and they had to go like make a new one or something, and they like thought Blackbeard died or something, but he didn't, and I don't know how that would all work, but
That's
I think something like that'd be cool, because we all think Blackbeard's gonna get a zone at some point. However, you know, he scarred Shanks without having any devil fruits, and so this is, I guess, sort of like a foreshadow for a video I'm working on right now. I'm actually gonna script it like tonight, right after this. But you know, like I'm fairly certain that like when Blackbeard fell asleep, that like let him scar Shanks, like it gave him some kind of power up, like there's some special thing, because that's like been tied to Shanks. Shanks is the one who said, oh, he doesn't sleep. And then Luffy's also like, hey, you know that people in snowy countries don't sleep? I heard it from a guy in a bar who's definitely Shanks.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so I think basically the zone powers that we're waiting for Blackbeard to get, he may have had it all along through like the same thing the Gorosei are doing. And so I wonder if, you know, like, I don't know if maybe that's it, like the past Gorosei member died and and that's how Blackbeard got him, and, you know, Rox did it somehow, and that's like their connection. I don't know how that would all work, but something.
Yeah, personally, I think they get their power from Imu. I think Imu has some kind of power that it's landing out to the Gorosei by extracting devil fruit powers from other devil fruit users, which renders them into what the Guardians and Impel Down are. They are basically just like hulls.
The Forced Awakenings,
Yeah. But they look like they can't think clearly anymore. So basically, wait, why are you laughing? Oh my god, the mac and cheese slander. No, so I really think what they do, in my opinion, is they feed devil fruits to slaves on Marija or to other test subjects. Then they force them to awake in some kind of way, and then Imu extracts some powers from them, stores them within himself. I think Imu's male, now that we know that. And then
we don't have the confirmation as of yet, but I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw there was like a credits for an upcoming episode, and Imu's voice is the same voice actor
Dio,
who's Kuzan.
Oh,
yeah, it's Dio as well, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's gonna be great.
Well, they use male celestial dragon kanji when referring to Imu, so
okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so and yeah, basically he stores the powers within itself and then lends it out to the Gorosei or whoever he wants to, but might be completely wrong. That's just what I was thinking since like a while now.
I like that, except I would elevate it, or well, not elevate it. I would maybe downgrade. That's not the right way to put it, but I think that exists for CP0 instead of the Gorosei. Where like the Gorosei might have more of like maybe like a lesser version of what Emu's doing. Like they're not controlled by Emu, but they can just do the same thing, but maybe they just aren't as good at it or something as Emu. Like Emu maybe has a stronger form or whatever. But I think CP0 is what you're talking about, because like how did Lucci get promoted after losing? Like how did they all get promoted? And also whenever they came back,
yes,
they had awakenings, or at least Kaku and Lucci did, and they had the same black ribbon that the Gorosei did. And so I'm almost wondering, like, can Emu grant them successful zone awakenings in exchange for like part of their soul or something? So like they can't, like if they disobey, Emu can like shut them down, is like the idea. Like I'll let you get stronger, but you disobey, you're done immediately.
I love that because, well, two things. I love that because first, it's a great way to explain that conversation with Drake and Guernica, where it's like, I wish I could do that. Like he literally cannot do what he wants to do. I
envy you.
Yeah. And then second, which is something I'm very interested in, is this stuff that's going on with Lucci right now. Like he's probably gonna try and save Kaku, but what if he physically cannot, because they aren't, like it's almost like they are like seraphims in their own way, but Emu is the one that controls them. It's like they can't do something unless they're told to do something, but like literally they can't do anything. Just so interesting.
I really think that going down in the CP is actually being demoted, because whenever you fail a question, you go one tier lower, which and I think that because I think the lower tiers in CP mean, like let's say CP 210 means that they are basically becoming suicide squads in a way. Because you failed, then you get demoted into a lower tier, which gives you missions that are more certain to end in death.
That you'll die.
Yeah,
that you'll die. That's really interesting. I like that a lot because you don't think that way, but it's kind of a parallel to the Marines. There's a reason Garp stayed a vice admiral, because he's able to do more things. And Lucci might not have realized, but the time he was most free is when he was, not with Cypherpole, and they were like on the run from the government. That was when he was the most free, which is crazy because, he was being harassed by like Marines and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like you're free, quote unquote, but you're going to get attacked by like Marines, or you're not free at all because you're stuck into this super monitored position where you can't do anything unless what you're told.
All right. Anyway, I hate to do it, but since I'm in Germany, it's getting late. It's 0:30 a.m. right now, and I have to work tomorrow, so I need to end the stream. I hope you guys and the people in the chat can forgive me for that. But I appreciate so much that you were here. I loved the cooking. Thank you for enduring the silly questions as well. I feel like we had fun. But sure. What's coming next for you guys? Deck, what are you cooking next? Can you give us a little teaser?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess first off, I'm going to be having shorts uploaded a couple times a week. I'm starting to do that more consistently. I have one for tomorrow already done. I'm going to do a stream soon that's going to be kind of like a chapter review stream, but also just like a how is this all going to end stream, like in the arc. So be on the lookout for that. And I guess otherwise, got videos coming. I don't know. The next one might be a Sanji video, or it might be an Impel Down video. I'm not exactly sure yet.
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
So, yeah.
Impel Down is goated. Can't wait for
yeah,
it.
I'm pumped.
Fantastic.
Pumped for that one. Yeah, I'm like really motivated to do that one. So yeah.
How about you, Kev?
So I have a few videos
Mhm.
in my mind right now. I have one that's like I haven't edited it yet, but I have it. It's basically talk about the admirals and where I think they could go in the future, which sounds crazy. You know, it might seem like a positive admiral video for me, but it's overall just like, hey, these guys are cool, and here's their potential. Here's what I think we need to learn more about them with.
And here's
And
why
another
Luffy
video.
is as strong as them.
No, see, that's the next video. My next video is the possible redemption of Rob Lucci, which is the thing I was feeling earlier in the arc, and then it's like a roller coaster. I was like, he's gonna get redeemed, then straight back down, and then I'm like, hold up, he's saving Kaku. What's going on here? So that could be something. And then on Monday, I'm doing a birthday stream, which is fun. You know, yeah.
Is your birthday
So
actually
that'll
on
be fun.
Monday?
It is on Monday. Yeah.
Is
is on
this
Monday.
a joke?
No, it's Usopp's birthday as well.
True.
Okay,
I would
'cause
never joke about
Monday
my
is
goat,
April
Usopp.
Fool's Day, so I'm just
I would
making
never
sure.
joke about my goat Usopp. I would never joke.
No one's gonna believe you on Monday. by
I
the way.
know.
That,
No one
that's
believed
probably
I was
happened your whole
born.
life.
No one's believed I was born when I was born. It's like
I still don't believe it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Myself.
What are you cooking, Marth?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just wanted to
what
say
about
that,
yourself?
like, I'm cooking on a little extension to my mega theory. It's about a
Okay.
character called Baron von Münchhausen, which was a notorious liar, and this should be coming out this week. But there's also gonna be another video this week on April 1st. I hope you will enjoy that.
Okay.
So
I'm expecting the laugh, bro. I'm expecting.
oh
the
yeah,
laugh.
oh you will. It's amazing. You will love it. I'm
Okay.
having a laugh myself in that video.
Okay.
Anyway, as I said, thank you so much for being here. Seriously, I had a great time. I hope you had a good time too. Thanks to anyone in the chat. And I'm just gonna turn off the music and roll the little bumper one more time, and then we are out.